आज के एपिसोड में हम फिटनेस के उस एस्पेक्ट के बारे में बात करने वाले हैं जो मोस्ट पीपल ओवरलुक कर देते हैं, द माइंड। वी पुश आवर बॉडीज इन द जिम, हम अपनी कैलोरीज काउंट करते हैं, हम अपने मैक्रोस ट्रैक करते हैं, हम न्यू डाइट्स ट्राई करते हैं, लेकिन ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स समटाइम्स माइट नॉट हेल्प अस। कभी सोचा है क्यों स्ट्रेस में आपकी बॉडी फैट लॉस करने में ज़्यादा दिक्कत देती है? क्यों हमें रात में शुगर और कार्ब्स की ज़्यादा क्रेविंग होती है? क्यों कुछ लोग फिटनेस कंसिस्टेंटली फॉलो कर पाते हैं लेकिन कुछ लोगों को वो कंसिस्टेंसी लाने में ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम होती है? टर्न्स आउट फिटनेस इज मच मोर देन लिफ्टिंग वेट्स, इट इज ऑल्सो अबाउट लिफ्टिंग योर मेंटल ब्लॉक्स. To answer these questions today, we have an expert who's been answering these questions for over 25 years now. Sadia Saeed is a clinical psychologist, a mindfulness expert, a TEDx speaker, and also an author to the book You're Simply Perfect. She's worked with clients like Mercedes, HP, ABP News, the Oberoi Group, and she's here with us today to answer all the questions related to the gut-brain connection, stress, habit forming, mindful eating, mindfulness, and whatnot. So let's get the show started. Welcome to the Steadfast Show. Hi Sadia, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Very well.
All good? तो आज हम मेजरली गट और ब्रेन कनेक्शन की बात करने वाले हैं, तो उससे स्टार्ट करेंगे। धीरे धीरे हम बाकी टॉपिक्स कवर करेंगे, हाउ फास्टिंग अफेक्ट्स योर बॉडी, हैबिट फॉर्मिंग के बारे में, सारी चीज़ें धीरे धीरे विल कवर। तो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द गट ब्रेन कनेक्शन। तो हम बहुत सुनते हैं कि मेरे को बटरफ्लाइज हो रही हैं स्टमक में जब नर्वस होते हैं, या फिर अगर कोई डिसीजन मेकिंग की बात आती है तो बोलते हैं कि आई एम गोइंग विद माई गट। तो ऐसा होता है कि गट से सेंसेशंस निकलती हैं जो ब्रेन तक जाती हैं। रीसेंट स्टडीज से पता चला है कि गट और ब्रेन दोनों कनेक्टेड होते हैं। अगर हमारा गट डिस्टर्ब्ड है तो हमारे ब्रेन को भी डिस्टर्ब करता है, एंड वाइस वर्सा इज ऑल्सो ट्रू। सो द क्वेश्चन फॉर यू इज कि गट और ब्रेन किस तरीके से कनेक्टेड हैं, हम ऐसा क्या खाते हैं जो हमारे गट को डिस्टर्ब करता है और कॉन्सिक्वेंटली हमारे ब्रेन को भी डिस्टर्ब करता है, हमारे मूड लेवल्स, हमारे स्ट्रेस लेवल्स, इन सबको कैसे अफेक्ट करता है?
अभी तो बहुत सारे स्टडीज़ निकले हैं जहाँ पता चल रहा है कि गट ब्रेन जैसे वेगस नर्व से कनेक्टेड है। गट में बहुत सारे न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर्स जनरेट होते हैं जैसे सेरोटोनिन, डोपामीन, गाबा, जो हमारे हेल्थ, मूड, वेलबींग से बहुत कनेक्टेड है। सो अगर गट इज़ फीलिंग गुड, इट इज़ obvious that the brain is going to feel good. And if the brain is going to feel good, it will regulate the gut. एक बहुत important factor जो हम सोच के नहीं, जिसके बारे में हम सोच के नहीं चलते, वो ये है कि ह्यूमन बॉडी में नथिंग वर्क्स इन आइसोलेशन। हर चीज़ से एकदम बहुत ही क्लोजली कनेक्टेड है। जैसे आप, ऐसा कुछ नहीं हो सकता कि आपको ये थॉट आया पर आपके बॉडी पे वो थॉट का इम्पैक्ट ना हो, वो होना ही होना है। सो वी थिंक ऑफ इट कि हाँ, मैंने अच्छा खाना खा लिया तो आई एम सॉर्टेड, या मैंने वर्कआउट कर लिया तो आई एम सॉर्टेड, या मैंने मेडिटेट कर लिया या कुछ मेंटल हेल्थ काम कर लिया तो आई एम सॉर्टेड। बट इट इज़ नॉट लाइक दैट। अगर आपके थॉट्स डिस्टर्ब्ड हैं, आप कितना भी अच्छा खाओगे, गट फिर भी डिस्टर्ब्ड होगा। आपकी गट ईटिंग डिस्टर्ब्ड है, आप कितने भी कोशिश करो कि अपने माइंड को सेटल्ड रखो, बट इफ़ द gut is heavy, if you've eaten heavy, your mind is going to be disturbed, your brain is going to be disturbed, because you can never feel blissed out when your body is not blissed out.
Right.
So what is important to understand is it's a very holistic, very interconnected mechanism, very very nuanced mechanism, और हम चाहते हैं कि हर जगह से हम उसको एड्रेस करें, एक होलिस्टिक तरीके से एड्रेस करें. सो दैट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट in recognizing that the gut, brain and nervous system, everything works in absolute connection.
So the gut and brain are connected through millions of nerves. अगर हमारी बॉडी में हम जो खाना खा रहे हैं उसकी वजह से अगर कोई इन्फ्लेमेशन होती है तो पूरी बॉडी में फैलती है बिकॉज ऑफ दिस कनेक्शन इटसेल्फ. तो सादिया, हम गट को सेकेंड ब्रेन भी बोलते हैं. सो इज इट ट्रू दैट अ पुअर गट हेल्थ कैन लीड टू स्ट्रेस, एंजाइटी और डिप्रेशन? इफ yes, then how?
Yeah, it's absolutely yes. The gut has the second largest connection of न्यूरॉन्स. सो न्यूरल नेटवर्क्स जितने ब्रेन में होते हैं उसके बाद बॉडी में नेक्स्ट लार्जेस्ट जो है गट में होते हैं. न्यूरो ट्रांसमीटर्स जैसे ब्रेन में जनरेट होते हैं गट में भी जनरेट होते हैं और कुछ तो ज़्यादा गट में ही जनरेट होते हैं. जैसे सेरोटोनिन तो मैक्सिमम गट में जनरेट होता है. सो इफ़ द गट इज़ नॉट ओके योर न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर्स क्या है? न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर्स दो न्यूरॉन्स के बीच में मैसेजेस भेजने वाले केमिकल्स हैं.
राइट.
अब इनकी मात्रा आपके सिस्टम में ठीक नहीं है, ये आपका मूड रेगुलेट करेंगे, ये आपकी एंजाइटी रेगुलेट करेंगे, ये आपका वेलबींग, सेंस ऑफ वेलबींग, सब्जेक्टिव वेलबींग रेगुलेट करेंगे. इनकी मात्रा अगर ठीक नहीं है क्योंकि आप ठीक खा नहीं रहे हो, सो नेचुरली द रिजल्ट इज़ कि एंजाइटी और मूड स्विंग्स और डिप्रेशन. एंड अलग अलग लोगों को अलग अलग चीज़ें होती है बेस्ड ऑन देयर पास्ट, देयर हिस्ट्री, देयर जेनेटिक्स, बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स हैं. लेकिन डायरेक्ट इन्फ्लुएंस न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर्स का इन पे होता ही है. इनफैक्ट सारी साइकाइट्रिक मेडिसिन जो है वो सब ये न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर्स को रेगुलेट करने के लिए ही है.
ओके.
So all psychiatrists do is work to increase or decrease neurotransmitters,
Okay.
which is being generated in your gut. और अगर आप गट में ही आपका बैलेंस नहीं है तो इट्स नेचुरल इज गोइंग टू अफेक्ट द माइंड.
आजकल गट हेल्थ एक हॉट टॉपिक बन गया है. प्रीबायोटिक्स, प्रोबायोटिक्स, फर्मेंटेड फूड एंड व्हाट नॉट. बट लोगों को पता ही नहीं है कहाँ से स्टार्ट करना है. सो व्हाट्स द वन थिंग दैट इफ समबडी वांट्स टू फिक्स देयर गट टू मेक इट हेल्दियर, वेयर शुड दे स्टार्ट?
In my opinion, before even thinking what to eat, whatever you are already eating, आप जो भी खा रहे हो उसको किस तरह से खा रहे हो, I think that should be your first point of entry.
Okay.
Most of the time जब हम खाते हैं, हम टीवी देखते हुए खाते हैं, we are scrolling our phones, we are checking our messages. What we are doing is we are not allowing, and messages में किसी को रिप्लाई करना है, कोई ईमेल है या आपका माइंड यूज़ हो रहा है, so now you are not allowing your digestion which starts from your mouth to take place peacefully. Now your digestion will be imbalanced. If your digestion is imbalanced, your gut will be imbalanced.
Right.
That is number one. Secondly, agar you're not aware while you're eating, that you're eating every morsel, you're not aware of every morsel, every niwala that is going in your body, then you're likely to overeat because आपका mind ही उधर नहीं है.
Right.
आपके satiety signals off है. Because your brain and your gut are not in connection. So
Right.
you're watching something and you're eating and you don't even know how much you should eat and when you should stop, when you're feeling comfortable. And satiety signals को थोड़ा time लगता है. When you finish eating, it takes a little time for the brain to say, now this is enough.
Right.
So when you slow down your eating, when you eat mindfully, when you are aware of every morsel that you are eating and you're not distracted, you eat better, you eat less, and you allow the system space to process. So I would say पहले तो कुछ और खाने और चेंज करने से पहले तो जो आप खा रहे हो वो ही सही तरीके से और फोकस से खा के सिस्टम को रेगुलेट करने का स्पेस देना चाहिए.
Okay, so focusing while eating so that the gut and brain are truly connected.
Yeah.
And इसीलिए शायद overeating और ये सब होता है because हम सोचते नहीं है, हम खाए जा रहे, we just end up overeating.
Absolutely.
और then उसके तो consequences पे हम आगे आएंगे. But okay, so we are headed in the right direction then.
Yes, absolutely. And also it is important to eat. ये automatically होता है जब आप mindfully खाते हैं with focus. आप थोड़ा कम खाते हैं because like I said, satiety signals आते हैं. पेट भरने से 3 निवाले 4 निवाले कम. That's it. So the digestion has like space है system में to easily digest. ये नहीं कि आपने overload कर दिया system को. So everything is about allowing digestion its space. फिर आपका absorption भी सही होगा, minerals भी सही मिलेंगे, सब कुछ ठीक होने लगेगा.
Right.
So I think yeah, definitely this is the first step.
So we are stressing the gut out first, and then it is sending stress signals to the brain.
Absolutely.
So more than anything, then gut health is about creating small, consistent steps, about putting complete focus on eating, and also small, consistent bites. So अब हम consistency की बात कर रहे हैं, तो कुछ लोग होते हैं जो अपनी हैबिट्स को लेके कंसिस्टेंट नहीं हो पाते हैं. जैसे फिटनेस हो गया, स्टार्ट करेंगे, जैसे अभी न्यू ईयर्स आया, हर किसी ने जिम मेंबरशिप खरीद ली. दे हैड बॉट इंग्रेडिएंट्स टू मेक मील्स और इतना कंसिस्टेंसी के मूड में थे, बट फरवरी आते ही सारी कंसिस्टेंसी चली गई क्योंकि मोटिवेशन चली गई, लाइफ हैपन्स, आप स्ट्रेस में आ गए, आपका वर्कलोड आ गया, कंसिस्टेंसी नहीं बन पाई. व्हाट डू यू से कि कंसिस्टेंसी जो है वो एक ब्रेन ब्लॉक है, और इज इट समथिंग मोर देन दैट?
I think consistency is not relying on motivation.
राइट.
बिकॉज मोटिवेशन आज है और कल नहीं है. मोटिवेशन का नेचर ही है. हर इंसान के मोटिवेशन का नेचर ये है कि आज मन हो रहा है, कल नहीं हो रहा है. आज एनर्जी अच्छी है, कल नहीं है. आज ये हो गया, कल वो हो गया. सो इट्स मोर अबाउट कमिटमेंट. और कमिटमेंट जब आप देते हो कोई चीज़ को कि हाँ हम ये करेंगे, यू शुड नॉट ओवर कमिट. बिकॉज अगर आपने बहुत कमिटमेंट दे दिया, देन यू कांट मैनेज इट. आपने बोला आप कुछ जिम नहीं करते थे, आप बिल्कुल नहीं जाते थे, अब आपने बोला मैं 5 दिन जिम जाऊँगा, तो फिर तो जब आप नहीं जाओगे फिर आप जाओगे ही नहीं. बट अगर आपने बोला मैं मिनिमम हफ्ते में 2 दिन तो वर्कआउट हम करेंगे ही, और फिर जितना और हो सके वो बोनस. आई एम जस्ट गिविंग यू एन आइडिया ऑफ व्हेन यू आर स्टार्टिंग. कमिटमेंट शुड फील मैनेजेबल. इट शुड नेवर फील overdone. And a lot of times this is the mistake we make. When we have high motivation, we overcommit.
Right.
And then when the motivation goes away, we cannot live up to those commitments because they are demanding too much of us. But if we commit minimum stuff or a little more, okay, and then try and just manage that much, then that becomes a habit. Then you commit a little more.
Right.
So you stack on that habit, you build that habit. कि अभी, see, it takes a few months for any habit to become easy. Okay, any habit. आप बोलो रात को मुझे ब्रश करना है, उसकी कोई भी हैबिट आप बोलो, रोज करने कुछ समय करेंगे तो आप उसकी आदत पड़ जाएगी. फिर आपके पास स्पेस है वो कमिटमेंट बढ़ाने की, तो आप छोटे छोटे स्टेप्स में बढ़ाएंगे. बिफोर यू नो, इन अ ईयर और 2 यू आर डूइंग वेरी वेल.
राइट.
बिकॉज यू डन सो मेनी थिंग्स. बट आपने सोचा कि ये जनवरी से मैं ठीक खाऊंगी और मैं जिम भी जाऊंगी और वॉक भी करूंगी, तो फिर तो देन यू आर, you know, you'll give up easily when your motivation goes, and then everything crashes.
Right.
Which is the problem.
Right. It's like an appetite then. आप एक रोटी से स्टार्ट करो, मे बी 3 महीने बाद आप 2 पे आ रहे हो, फिर 3 महीने बाद आप 3 पे आ रहे हो. आप डायरेक्टली 3 पे नहीं आ सकते हो.
Exactly.
So it's like climbing stairs.
बिल्कुल.
Okay.
और आपका धीरे धीरे कैपेसिटी बढ़ता है. कोई भी कमिटमेंट, see, there is something in the brain called neuroplasticity, which means your brain is always looking at your behavior and learning.
Okay.
So if your behavior goes up and down, which means you are very motivated, you've done a lot, and then you've crashed and done nothing for a few months, your brain is learning this pattern. Also, if you twice a week you go to the gym for 2-3 months, your brain is learning that this is a pattern. And anything that the brain practices, learns, and it's a practice. जैसे गिटार बजाना ना, it becomes very easy if you play it for a year.
Right.
Consistently. But if you pick it up for 1 month every year, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen for several years.
Right.
But if you play twice a week for 2 years, you will learn how to play the guitar. So the brain learns, and once the brain learns, sees that you're practicing, it makes an effort to make that easy for you. So there is a whole brain neuroplasticity involvement here also on commitment. So keep it simple but keep it consistent is what I would say.
Okay, that helps. I think I'll also get back on track with this advice. So Sadia, there are some people जिनके लिए everyday gym जाना बहुत easy है. वो motivated होते हैं खुद से जाएंगे, अपनी meal prep करेंगे, office जाएंगे, everything is good. But then there are some people like me who find it difficult to stay motivated throughout the week or throughout the month. Now, what would you suggest to some people who are finding it difficult to come into that habit?
I feel that वो 5 days a week अगर difficult हो रहा है तो then it's a difficult target. So I would say, okay, 2 things. Let's take it from here. I would say 2 things. One is, if you have put a target that you are finding difficult to meet, then one, you have to simplify that target a little. 2, if you go to the gym and work out for 1.5 hours and that itself feels daunting, you tell yourself, I'll go to the gym and work out for just as long as I feel like.
Okay.
Because the biggest impediment is not working out, the biggest impediment is going to the gym.
Right.
So you overcome the first impediment first, right? कि आप जिम तो पहुंच गए, अब आप 15 मिनट के मूड से पहुंचे हो कि मैं 15 मिनट I'll walk on the treadmill for 10 minutes, I'll do a few weights and I'll come. Once you go, you'll anyway get into the flow, you'll do a little more. But it's that first hurdle कि आज जाना ही नहीं है. So you create space for your mind, like a negotiating space for your mind ki I'll go and I'll do how much I can and I'll come back, but I'll go. So you've made your target slightly easier for your mind to cope with. So it's like a negotiation that you're doing with your mind, because the more harder we push, more the mind will say ki nahi jana hai, nahi karna hai, especially if motivation is an issue. So keep it commitment oriented, not motivation oriented, and keep it easy so that it's not hard on you.
So what role then does self-talk play in, somebody's fitness? Either you're coming from a place of self-love, जहाँ पे आप अपने आप को already पसंद करते हैं and you want to make yourself better. दूसरा होता है self-loathing, जहाँ पे आप अपने आप को पहले से ही पसंद नहीं करते हैं, you don't like how you are looking in the mirror or how you don't feel good about yourself, and you out of a feeling of self-loathing, खुद को ना पसंद करने की feeling से अपने आप को better करना चाह रहे हैं. How does this make a difference? Coming from a positive mindset or coming from a negative mindset, how does this affect the fitness?
It affects the fitness primarily on a basis of how the system perceives threat.
Okay.
When you like yourself and you do it because you're caring for your body, you like to care for your body, you feel light when you work out, you feel light when you eat well, your fitness is a journey from this space. There is no threat. You will be more forgiving, you will be more aligned, in tune with the fact that आज energy थोड़ी कम है तो आज ये कर लेते हैं, आज energy ठीक है तो आज वो करते हैं. You'll be able to work with your body signals because you're not punishing yourself.
Right.
You don't dislike yourself. But when you come from a place of self-loathing, you're punishing yourself. You're almost like you're not good. Now you better do this. Now just think about this. Think about not doing this to yourself but doing it to a child. Just think about it. You're telling the child, you're absolutely horrible at your work. You better sit down and do your homework. Or study for your exam. With what mindset will the child do it? A mindset of punishment, a mindset of threat. Right? The child is being threatened. And threat creates high cortisol. And high cortisol leads to the stress response. And a stress response in body does not actually let you work out very well.
Right.
So it is such a vicious cycle that you're starting by threatening and disliking yourself. So I think fitness, food, everything has to be so that you feel good, not so that you become better, become something else than who you are. Just a happier, healthier, good feeling version of yourself. So that I think is very important.
There are also some people जो अगर कभी एक चीट मील खा ली तो अपने आप को ऐसे जिम में जाके पनिश करते हैं. Is that coming from the same mindset of self-loathing or is it about something else?
Yeah, self-loathing being, in psychology we say you have internalized your critical parent. When we are growing up, parents have so many different faculties. Like parents nurture भी करते हैं, parents discipline और criticize भी करते हैं. आपने वो जो क्रिटिकल पेरेंट है ना, जो क्रिटिसाइज करता है, उसको अंदर अपना आवाज बना लिया. अब आप अपने आप को बस जीने ही नहीं देते हैं. What if you make some mistake? You're really harsh on yourself. You have no compassion for yourself. You don't let it go and say, okay, it's done now. Let me go back to my normal routine. So anything done with dislike, anything done with self-loathing, anything done with threat will create a threat in the body, and threat reactivity will trigger the fight and flight response in the body and actually completely derail the fitness journey.
Okay.
So it is not only not good, it is actually going against your fitness journey. It is not going to let you become fit if you do a punitive workout.
So then how do you fix it? If you are coming from that negative point of view towards yourself, from the self-loathing point of view, how do you rewire your brain into coming from the self-loving point of view then?
The rewiring is a long process, but you at least have to start with saying, if I have to be friends with myself, okay, what would be my first step?
Okay.
What do you do with a friend? You hang out with a friend. You listen to a friend. You accept that the friend feels hurt or low or angry. So you listen to yourself. Yes, I'm feeling hurt. You have compassion. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling rejected. I'm feeling dejected. So on. That's one. The other thing you don't do is you don't compare your friend to other and say she's a better friend, he's a better friend. So you don't compare yourself with others and say they have better bodies, they have better fitness, they are more disciplined, they eat right, they do so well, they are achieving so well. You are doing what you are doing. How can you be a happier, healthier person should be your only concern.
Okay.
Not even happier, healthier. Given that this is your health and happiness, how can you take care of yourself should be your only concern. What is the
Right.
best way to take care of yourself? And the whole orientation should start there. Ki what do I need to do to take care of myself? And that doesn't mean going to a spa. Taking care is also not eating too much today. That's also taking care.
Right.
This idea of self-care is more pleasure, but more pleasure is not self-care. Really doing what is good and right for you is self-care.
More self-consciousness then.
Yeah, but like this is good for me. Like I know this is good for me.
Right.
If that is good for you, yeah, do it.
What a perspective. Like, I would never criticize my best friend for doing anything. She can do the randomest of thing and I would never criticize her. I would always be supportive. Okay, हो गया ना, चलो अभी देखते हैं आगे क्या करना है. So why don't we treat ourselves with that utmost level of love, utmost level of care? And I think that is where everybody is lacking these days.
Absolutely.
We criticize ourselves and we are not coming from a place of love. We are always in competition with ourselves. एक होता है ना hustle culture बड़ा glorify हो गया है.
बिल्कुल.
तो वो hustle culture में हम अपने आप पे बहुत hard भी हो रहे हैं. So I think that needs to first be taken care of, right?
Absolutely. You have to be a good friend to yourself. That's the most important thing. Then everything starts to change
Right.
from there.
Sadia, there are some people who are doing everything right. They're going to the gym, they are eating right, they are disciplined, but still they are struggling with their fitness. Now, what do you have to say about them? Is it like a physical limitation that they're going through? या इसमें कुछ और deeper emotional connection है with the gut or the brain? Please shed some light on it.
See, I think it can be a lot of things. We have to rule out some organic things. There could be even a genetic predisposition towards having more weight. In certain families, these predispositions are there. तो ये भी हो सकता है. And stress also can be a big factor. कि you're eating right, you're working out, but your mind is not at peace. I personally know so many people who work out but don't get more than 3 to 4 hours of sleep in the night. And they sleep late, they get up early, and you're not going to be able to lose weight or you're not going to be able to feel healthy if your sleep is not on point, for example. Okay, so the mind also has to be peaceful and balanced while you're working out and eating right. It can't be that your mind is stressed, you're overworked, you're checking mails at 2 in the morning and replying to them at 5 in the morning, and then you're also doing everything right. Then that doesn't, like I said, the mind-body is not in alignment. It's not in tune. And if it's not in tune and not in harmony, then it's very difficult for the system to be regulated.
So, high cortisol की जो हम बात कर रहे हैं, cortisol is the stress hormone. तो high cortisol जो है, does it make your fat loss journey more difficult? कि वो fat burn करने में, आपको weight loss करने में जो efforts लगते हैं, उसको amplify करने की need हो जाती है अगर cortisol या stress high है. Is that so? How does stress affect the body?
Absolutely. See, okay, first we just have to understand कि nervous system के autonomic nervous system के दो part है ना, sympathetic nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system fight and flight trigger करता है. वो activate होता है मतलब आपका fight and flight response trigger हो गया body में, right? ये कब trigger होता है जब system threat में होता है.
Okay.
जब कोई भी threat हो, आपको बाहर से कोई मारने वाला है, physically hurt करने वाला है, या फिर mental stress और internal threat है. आपको डर है कि कोई आपको अबैंडन कर देगा, आपको ऑफिस का या काम का स्ट्रेस है, आपको प्रमोशन नहीं मिल रहा उसका स्ट्रेस है, आपके बच्चे का स्कूल का एडमिशन नहीं हो रहा उसका स्ट्रेस है. डजंट मैटर वो बाहर सच में आपको थ्रेट है, फिजिकल हार्म या मेंटल हार्म, बट थ्रेट इज देयर. अब थ्रेट है तो बॉडी इज वेरी स्मार्ट एंड फाइट एंड फ्लाइट इज अ वेरी गुड, वेरी यूजफुल, वेरी नीडेड रिएक्शन. बिकॉज अगर आपको कोई मार रहा है तो यू नीड टू रन अवे, you need to fight, you need energy in your arms, you need energy in your legs, you need your heart to beat and your blood to pump, you need energy in your eyes, you need to be able to see better, you need to be able to hear better.
Right.
Correct? You need more sugar in your body to get quick energy to fight.
Right.
Correct? So all these systems start even if the threat is internal. Now the problem is when the threat is internal, there is nobody to fight with. आपको hands में energy नहीं चाहिए, legs में energy नहीं चाहिए. You don't need resources to be pushed into the extremities. You don't need hypervigilant eyes or ears, but you become hypervigilant. And when this fight and flight system gets triggered, blood sugar starts to get released.
Right.
Okay, cortisol goes high. Cortisol tells the liver that bhaiya, now you have to start storing fat,
Right.
because now there is a threat and you need to have reserves. So store fat, conserve fat, and give me more energy. So release sugars. So now your sugar will spike, your fat will get stored, and this is the fight and flight mechanism. Technically, after your fight or your difficulty is over, you should be able to come back to a relax, rest and digest
Right.
system. But because we keep thinking and we don't stop, our fight and flight doesn't go away.
Right.
Because of that, our fat storage will continue, our blood sugar will keep increasing. Because we are in the sympathetic nervous system activity, we can't sleep because sleep is parasympathetic.
Oh, right.
We can't digest because digestion is parasympathetic. So to digest, to sleep, we need the relaxed response, which is the parasympathetic response, to get activated in the body. That doesn't get activated.
Right.
So now you can't sleep. You can't relax. You're not going to digest well. So you're not going to absorb your nutrients well.
Right.
You are also going to be disturbed. So you'll seek sugar for comfort. Your sugars have been used up. So you'll seek more carbs for comfort. The more carbs you have, now you have a poor digestion and you're having more sugar and carbs. Your digestion is going to go worse. So it's gone worse. Blood sugar is going to spike. You'll develop insulin resistance. This is what stress will do. How can you be fit with stress?
Oh God.
Impossible.
Right. So chronic stress then has become a lifestyle for everyone. Is it?
Unfortunately, for most of us, yes.
How do I rewire my brain to understand कि एक ईमेल का रिप्लाई करना फाइट और फ्लाइट नहीं है क्योंकि एक ईमेल लिखने से भी बहुत स्ट्रेस हो रहा है, छोटी छोटी चीज़ों से बहुत स्ट्रेस हो रहा है, एंड द बॉडी इज अंडर कॉन्स्टेंट स्ट्रेस ऑल द टाइम. Cortisol levels are high. How do you suggest that we then maybe rewire the brain is the correct word or not, I'm not sure, but change this perspective for the brain कि हम all the time under attack नहीं है.
This is actually what I do for my life. This is
Okay.
what my living is about, teaching people to rewire their
Right.
brain. And the simplest way to do that is, or rather the simplest way to start that is the practice of mindfulness. Because mindfulness says you bring your awareness into the present. Now see, most of the stress is not because the stress is there now. Most of the stress is because we are thinking about a past or a future event.
Okay.
My child will not get admission, then they will not do well, then what will happen to their lives?
Right.
That's the trajectory. I will not get a promotion, then I will not get this money, then I have an EMI, then what will happen? So it's always a future. It's always a future. Or why did my presentation in office today must have gone really bad? Or, I hope they liked it. I hope they didn't feel this way. So it's all the time that. Add to that the scrolling time on social media, forever looking at how everybody else is having a gala time and feeling that my life is horrible. That is also attack. So you see, it's not like we are really under attack in the here and now. We are under attack because the mind is engaged all the time with things that are not in the here and now.
Right.
Right? So the simplest way to de-stress would be to actually stay in the present. Because the present is not stressful. Most of the time it's not stressful. When it is stressful, it's stressful. Let's say you're giving a presentation, maybe it's stressful. But then the presentation is over and you're on a coffee break. It's not stressful. But you're thinking about the presentation, then it is stressful again, you see.
Right.
So we have to train our mind not to engage with thoughts that don't belong in the present. And that's a practice. वो बोलने से सुनने से तो कभी नहीं होगा. उसको करना पड़ेगा और दिन रात. And it's again not a practice कि आपको उसके लिए time निकालना है ना. This is just reminding myself I'm taking a bath, so let me come back and just take a bath. I'm brushing my teeth, so let me just be here, brush my teeth.
Right.
I'm eating food, so let me be here, eat my food. Reduce gadget time as much as possible. Don't overwatch news. Don't overdo social media. Keep space. And in that space, don't sit and think. Most of the time we overthink, therefore we want to keep doing something so that we don't overthink. And what we are doing is also creating stress. So we have to learn to have space and silence with ourselves. Have times in the day where we are doing nothing, we have silence. Also, when our mind is distracted, we get it back. This is mindfulness. It's a practice, and this is what is going to start rewiring the stress response.
अभी आपने पैरासिम्पैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम की भी बात की थी. पैरासिम्पैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम को हम रेस्ट एंड डाइजेस्ट सिस्टम भी बोलते हैं, एंड इट इज़ रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर योर स्लीप एंड फॉर योर डाइजेशन, जैसे कि आपने ऑलरेडी मेंशन किया. अब ये पैरासिम्पैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम को ट्रिगर करने के लिए हमें प्रैक्टिस करनी पड़ती है माइंडफुलनेस, मेडिटेशन, रिलैक्सेशन एक्टिविटीज़. बट nobody has a time for it. Everybody is in a hustle. What do you suggest is the one thing that anybody who's however busy can implement in their lives to trigger that parasympathetic nervous system to be more at peace with themselves?
Which is what I just said, that the way to trigger parasympathetic nervous system is to come back here. Okay. I'll give you an example. You're traveling to work. What do you do in that travel time? You scroll, you call, you do something. Do you even take 10 breaths peacefully? You have time. So it's not that people don't have time. It's what they choose to do with their time.
Okay.
This is boring. Okay, taking 10 breaths doing nothing is boring. Scrolling on my phone is interesting. It's pleasurable. But it is stressful relatively. But I'm choosing that because like for example, eating junk food is stressful, but it's pleasurable. It's not that good food is not available. Right? So it's a choice actually, to be honest. It's not like we don't have time. It's a choice to use that time that you travel. You travel 10-15 minutes every day. Metro, whatever, even if you're standing, just breathe. How much time it takes? You're breathing all the time. Just be attentive to your breath. 5 breaths, 10 breaths, be attentive. You've triggered your parasympathetic response.
हर कॉलोनी के पार्क्स में सुबह सुबह अंकल का एक ग्रुप बहुत हैवी ब्रीदिंग कर रहा होता है, जो आज तक मुझे लगता था कि इज अ यूजलेस एक्टिविटी दे आर जस्ट डूइंग टू पास टाइम. बट इज देयर नाउ, आई नो देयर इज समथिंग गुड गोइंग ऑन देयर. तो आप उसके बारे में हमें थोड़ा बताइए कि उतनी हैवी ब्रीदिंग करने का कोई फायदा है, या फिर दे आर जस्ट अट्रैक्टिंग सम सॉर्ट ऑफ अटेंशन की trying to be all Gen Z about it.
See, heavy breathing actually will lead to a sympathetic nervous system response, not a parasympathetic response.
Okay.
It will inspire energy, but at that age they need energy.
Right.
Because their bodies are moving into a sedate state. So for an elderly person who is 60, 70, they need more movement, and because actually the body is slowing down,
right,
they need to compensate. We are hustling, we need to slow down. So if you tell me a group of 20-year-olds is doing heavy breathing, I'll say they need to take care. But if you tell me a group of 60-year-olds is doing heavy breathing, I'll say karne do unko, it's good. It will help their morning energy routines. Also, it's morning. See, when you do heavy breathing in the morning, it will inspire energy through the day. Heavy breathing in the night will not let you sleep. So you should know what breathing you're doing when in the day. So if you see the whole pranayama system that we have in yoga, it's perfect. It'll tell you what time of the day, what kind of pranayama to do, what to do when you're lethargic and sleepy, what to do when you're over-energized and agitated. We have all different kinds of breathing that our systems have already, Indian systems have already taught us.
अभी हम स्लीपिंग, रेस्ट और रिकवरी की इतनी बात कर रहे हैं, तो बहुत लोग होते हैं जो कहीं पे बैठे होंगे सो जाएंगे. आप नॉइजी कैफ़े में बिठा लो, वो सो जाएंगे. वो ट्रैवल करते हुए मेट्रो में सो जाएंगे, किसी से बात करते हुए सो जाएंगे. और कुछ लोग होते हैं जो रात के 2 बजे तक भी नहीं सो पाते हैं. दे फाइंड इट वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉलिंग अस्लीप. फॉर एग्जाम्पल मी, आई हैव अ हार्ड टाइम फॉलिंग अस्लीप. मुझे 2-3 घंटे लाइट बंद करने के बाद नींद आती है. तो व्हाट डू यू थिंक आई शुड बी डूइंग अदर देन, बिकॉज ब्रीदिंग एक्सरसाइज लाइक यू मेंशन्ड एट नाइट विल नॉट लेट मी स्लीप. Now, what is that one trick or hack that will help me fall asleep faster? Or what is going on in my mind that I can stop?
See, actually there are multiple things. One reason you can't sleep is because, like I said, throughout the day there has been too much of fight and flight going on. Okay, so pehle to it's not just in the night. Even during the day, there'll have to be regulation time so that the system starts to like I said, sympathetic, parasympathetic has to work like this in alternance. Sympathetic आता है, फिर parasympathetic necessary है उसको compensate करने के लिए, तो आपका presentation हो गया, फिर आपका break है ना, so that's your parasympathetic time, so use it.
Okay.
So एक तो whole day you don't move between working, scrolling, doing this doing से थोड़ा being में
Okay.
day long आना पड़ेगा. Night, lot of things can be done to help. System will only start sleeping when you do all this over a period of time. So it's not going to be a hack or a trick that will happen in few days.
Okay.
It will slowly learn
Hmm.
that this is what your patterns are now, and it will create better sleep ability. Eat early, at least for 4 hours before you, 4 to 5 hours before you sleep, so that digestion is not interfering with your sleeping. Your energy is not being used up to digest. Dim the lights. Try to read. If you have to do something, then don't use your gadget. Try to read or something. And I would say it's not that you shouldn't breathe. You can do soft breathing in the night. You can do pranayams which are gentle in the night, and or meditate before you sleep. All of that can help.
Okay.
All of that can help.
Okay. So usually जैसे इसकी बात कर रहे हैं हम, रात में खाने की बात कर रहे हैं और वो डाइजेशन को अफेक्ट करता है, बट जितनी भी क्रेविंग्स होती हैं वो रात को होती हैं. सो हाउ डू यू फर्स्ट डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन हंगर एंड क्रेविंग? क्योंकि हंगर, अभी मैंने 10 बजे खाना खाया, मुझे 1 घंटे बाद फिर से कुछ खाने का मन कर रहा है, सो आई एम रीचिंग आउट फॉर डोनट और अ डेजर्ट और अ चीज़ केक, वो रात में होता है. तो हंगर और क्रेविंग में सबसे बड़ा डिफरेंस हम कैसे पता लगाएं? दूसरा, वो रात में ही क्यों हो रहे हैं? सारी क्रेविंग्स दुनिया भर की, जो भी आपको ब्राउनी विद आइसक्रीम खानी है, वो रात के 11 बजे 12 बजे आप जोमेटो खोल रहे हो और आप ऑर्डर कर रहे हो. तो हाउ आर यू गोइंग टू डिफरेंशिएट और स्टॉप योरसेल्फ फ्रॉम डूइंग दैट?
See, hunger is a genuine biological response. Craving is also sometimes a biological response, but it is more psychologically initiated, in the sense there is a whole concept of emotional eating, that when you are not feeling happy, you eat for comfort,
Okay.
right? When you're stressed, you eat for comfort. You said, why at night? At night you finish everything. You feel, I have had a whole day of work, now it's time for reward. So you eat at night.
I
Night
deserve
is
this.
also, yeah, I deserve this. Night is also a time when you're idle. So all kinds of overthinking happens. You don't want to get into that kind of, emotions are probably coming up, not good feelings are coming up, and we don't know how to process it with them at all. We've never learned. Nobody has taught us. We've never learned it, unfortunately. So quickly move to something that is more fun. Eating is fun. Eating is comforting. Eating is supportive. So we quickly move into fun eating, and actually that just harasses our system and overloads our system and creates more problem for us. So it's a psychological trigger. Now the only way out of this trigger actually is to learn to sit with yourself even if you're bored. Another trigger is boredom. I don't know how to be bored. ये बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है, वी डोंट एडमिट इट, बट ये बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है. लाइक वेट करना है 15-20 मिनट, तो फोन के बगैर वेट ही नहीं कर सकते लोग अब. दे जस्ट कांट सिट एंड जस्ट बी. दे हैव टू थिंक, प्लान, scroll, work, check emails, do something, right? So if we have very limited tolerance for boredom in our life, we are going to move to something pleasurable. And what is pleasurable is not always preferable. In fact, in the Upanishads, there are words for this called Shreyas and Preyas. जो अच्छा लगता है और जो अच्छा है. There is a big difference in these two things. So the point that we have to understand is that we have to create tolerance for boredom, for hurt, for sadness. It's okay, it's just an emotion. Everybody goes through sadness. Why should you not be sad? But do you have the space to just sit and be sad and allow yourself to be sad? Somebody has hurt you, said something, okay, I'm hurt right now. Can I just be lovingly sitting with myself? But we don't do that. We want to move from there, and then naturally we will move to some addiction. It could be food, it could be Netflix, it could be whatever, social media, it could be anything. It could be binge watching something. It could be anything.
So the trick here is to stop, think for like 10 minutes, be with yourself for 10 minutes before making that order on a food delivery app.
Pause.
So you need to pause, take some time off,
Yeah.
maybe breathe a little,
Yeah.
and be with yourself rather than just making reflex decisions कि अभी मेरे को खाना है, मेरे को क्रेविंग हो रही है मीठा खाने की, तो फटाफट ऑर्डर नहीं करना है, 10 मिनट रुकना है, और 10 मिनट बाद भी अगर आपको मन करता है तब की तब देखेंगे।
बिल्कुल,
तो तब की तब देखेंगे
तब की तब देखी जाएगी,
तब तक मूड चेंज हो जाएगा।
वही है, बिकॉज हम बोलते हैं ना, ये अर्ज सर्फिंग बोलते हैं, अर्ज वेव्स की तरह होती है, आती है, पीक होती है और फिर उतर जाती है, इसका नेचर ही ये है। तो जैसे सर्फ बोर्ड है तो आप वेव्स को सर्व कर सकते हैं, यू कैन सर्फ इट, अदरवाइज अ वेव विल क्रैश ओवर यू,
राइट।
So what you are doing now is you're waiting through the whole wave to come, peak and leave.
Now that I'm thinking about it, the one time that I was not sure कि मुझे खाना क्या है, and I wasted like 10 minutes thinking कि मुझे क्या खाना है, उतने में मेरी craving चली गई थी, so I ended up not ordering anything. So yeah.
So waiting through, sometimes बहुत मुश्किल हो गया तो substituting something at home, a dried fruit or something which is relatively healthier, which is sweet, but at least it is less problematic, and eating it very slowly, very mindfully. Like एक पीस चॉकलेट भी अगर आप खा रहे हो तो बहुत धीरे धीरे खाओगे तो आपको लगेगा कि आपने काफ़ी चॉकलेट खाया, बट आप एक पीस ऐसे खा लो तो you don't even come to know कि आपने खाया. So making it slow, mindful, aware, with pause, and then slowly when you are able to wait, then you are able to wait also. तो इसको ये टेक्निक है, इसको अर्ज सर्फिंग कहते हैं, देयर इज अ प्रॉपर टेक्निक फॉर इट.
जब हम स्ट्रेस की और क्रेविंग्स की बात कर रहे हैं, इज देयर अ कनेक्शन कि आप जितने ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस होते हो आप उतना ज़्यादा कार्ब्स या फिर शुगर क्रेव करते हो? व्हाट इज द कनेक्शन बिटवीन स्ट्रेस एंड कार्ब्स और शुगर और क्रेविंग्स? प्लीज टेल अस अबाउट दैट.
देयर इज, लाइक आई सेड, देयर इज अ एक्चुअल कनेक्शन इन द फाइट एंड फ्लाइट रिस्पॉन्स. कि आप स्ट्रेस से फाइट एंड फ्लाइट ट्रिगर होता है तो एनर्जी की ज़रूरत पड़ती है बॉडी को लड़ने के लिए, और एनर्जी के लिए वो जो शुगर के रिजर्व्स है वो यूज अप कर जाता है, तो शुगर क्रैशेस आते हैं, जिसके लिए आपको शुगर और कार्ब्स की ज़रूरत पड़ती है और शुगर आने के लिए. दैट इज़ actually how it happens on a physical level. On a psychological level, when you're stressed and frustrated, you need comfort food,
right?
You need some comfort, and sweets are known to be comforting to human beings. Sweets, oily deep fried food, junk food, this is what, french fries, this is what is comforting to people,
right?
So they move to food that is comforting and also psychologically justified कि यार मैं इतने stress में हूँ तो फिर यही खाऊंगा ना, मतलब I will feel justified in saying it's okay now, I've dealt with enough, let me eat today. So it is multiple things that come together, right, and create this kind of a carb or a sugar overload in the system.
But there is another vicious cycle going on. तो हम unhealthy खा रहे हैं because we are stressed. Now because we are stressed and overwhelmed, we are missing out our gym. Now because we are missing out on our gym, we are guilty and we are loading up on our carbs and sugar. And now we are again overwhelmed because of all the high cortisol stress hormones getting released. And this is a vicious cycle that is going on.
Absolutely.
How do we break this?
Like I feel you have to break it on multiple levels. You have to break it at the stress level itself, which I said, you use mindfulness. And it's not even 15 minutes I'll meditate, I'll shut it, uske baad life goes back to normal. That is also not healthy. So the idea is to integrate these wisdom practices into your everyday life, understand your stress responses and work through them through the day and shift your mindset towards that whole thing. So it requires some amount of regular practice of coming back in the present,
okay,
to shift the stress that you have worked from, let's say, the mind or the brain space or the psychological angle. Physically, like I said, keep small commitments that you will do this food wise. Like for example, I will stop eating at this time in the night, and then you try and keep up that commitment for as much as possible. So if, let's say, sunset is not easy for you to finish eating at sunset, office hi late hai vagera vagera, you keep a time where you'll finish. If you eat at 10:30 or 11, okay, but I won't eat after 9. I won't eat after 9:15. Then when you're able to do this, make it 8:15. And that becomes easy. To make it from 9:15 to 8:15 is easy. What is not easy is to regulate from 11 to 8. That's difficult. So make small shifts and say, okay, up to this point, I will eat what I can, but I will stop at this point. So small commitments on a food front, small commitments on exercise front. Even meditation, I tell people, पूरा दिन नहीं हुआ ना, ठीक है, आप सो रहे हो ना, 10 मिनट can you take out before you sleep? 10 मिनट meditate करके सो जाओ. Just make a commitment कि पूरा दिन मैंने नहीं किया, 10 मिनट तो मैं करूँगी सोने से पहले. That's not a very hard commitment to keep up to.
Hmm.
So make small commitments on all fronts
Hmm.
so that you address it on all levels,
Okay.
but small ones, manageable ones.
Hmm. So the answer then comes down to mindfulness and being in the present and actively regulating your body at all times of the day. Not only when you're stressed or while trying to sleep, every time of the day. I read this somewhere कि जब आप बहुत ओवर थिंकिंग कर रहे होते हैं एंड यू रियलाइज दैट यूर ओवर थिंकिंग, आप अपने ब्रेन में बहुत जोर से चिल्लाओ स्टॉप, लाइक विदाउट सेइंग आउट लाउड आप दिमाग में कहीं stop, so that you are making your brain aware that you're overthinking, and then you give it a signal to stop whatever you're doing and be in the present. Am I going the right line?
I don't think you should shout at your brain
Okay.
because that's a threat response.
Okay.
Right? When you shout at yourself,
Hmm.
then you're threatening yourself.
Hmm.
Very lovingly and gently say, "ठीक है, done, come back here now." That's good
Okay.
enough. You don't need to scream and shout. That's what I'm saying. Our relationship with ourselves have to be a little gentle.
Hmm.
They can't be punitive, shouting,
Hmm.
forceful, fixing mindset.
Hmm.
You have to have a persuasive, negotiating,
Hmm.
slowly, because mind is a very, very strongly conditioned entity.
Hmm.
Okay, we think we are in control. 1 minute I will ask you to sit and focus on your breath, you will realize how out of control you are.
Hmm.
Your mind will not sit even for a minute. That
Hmm.
means even a minute in a day doesn't belong to you actually,
Hmm.
in the way you want it exactly.
Hmm.
Right? So that is how out of control, that is how dominant the mind is.
Hmm.
तो उसको तो लाना है तो प्यार से लाना पड़े, चिल्ला चिल्ला के झगड़ा करके you can't get it to do what you want.
Hmm.
कि why can't I sleep? I should make myself sleep. That is exactly going to stop you from sleeping.
Right.
Right? So you make the situation such that you make the environment ready for you to sleep, and then you allow yourself to rest, relax, and धीरे धीरे over days and months things will happen.
Hmm.
So the fitness journey, I always feel it's mental health, fitness, these are like marathons, these are not sprints.
Hmm.
You have to be slow, and it's a long, consistent work.
Okay. And that is why, we are also, I think, in a way, rewiring the brain from that concept, negative concept of self-loathing,
Absolutely.
and slowly moving and shifting towards self-loving.
Self-loving, friendship, मतलब love भी चलो दूर की बात है, just friendship with oneself, just friendliness towards oneself, that is a very big move.
आजकल बहुत ट्रेंड चला है, सेल्फ लविंग के नाम पे बहुत शॉपिंग करते हैं, स्पास जाते हैं, स्किन केयर हो रहा है, which I think might help you superficially, but if you're not, practicing calmness or friendliness internally, तो वो superficial चीज़ें भी I don't think sustain कर पाती हैं.
Correct.
Am I right?
You're absolutely right. Because it's how it is done. Okay, skin care can be done with genuine love for your skin, and skincare can be done because I have big pores, I have acne, I have this, I have that. Then that is self-loathing. That's not skincare. Like one has to accept that this is what is given to me. And if nature wanted me to look different, it would have made somebody else. Why did it make me? And we did make ourselves. Something made us. Not even our parents have made us. Something has come together and made us. There's a larger intelligence, a larger nature at work. And nature made us exactly as it wanted to make us. If nature wants to make a lame puppy, it makes a lame puppy. You can't say, oh, this puppy has a problem. Nature just made it that way. It needs to be that way. We need to be like this. We need to have this mind and this body. So not loving ourselves is actually a disservice to what has created us, It's a very unfortunate way of looking at ourselves. कि acne नहीं होना चाहिए, skin oily नहीं होना चाहिए, dry नहीं होना चाहिए. है सारी दुनिया है, the whole world of people, किसी की dry होगी, किसी की oily, कोई मोटा, कोई पतला, तो ऐसा ही होगा. This is how life is. So getting obsessed about yourself, over conscious about how you look, I mean, beyond a point, it's not helpful.
And majority of the people have problem with their nose. The number one feature on your face is your nose that most people don't like. And self-love comes when you start accepting your nose. Because you are accepting yourself for as you are.
Absolutely.
And अब नाक ऐसी है तो ऐसी ही है.
बिल्कुल.
But do you think social media, because everybody is now putting themselves out so much on social media and people, openly trolling or commenting, this also has a lot of impact on your mental health. What do you have to say about that?
Absolutely.
मैं अपनी selfie डालूं और कोई मेरी नाक पे comment कर दे तो already मेरी insecurity है और लोग उसको और amplify कर रहे हैं. So, but you wouldn't stop yourself from posting. So, how do you cope up with that?
Yeah, that's the reason why one tries so hard to get the right angle in your selfie, the right makeup. People shouldn't look at you in a way that is, doesn't give you a good feeling. Enough likes aane chahiye. See, this is making it, all the insecurities that are within are just right out there, amplified, worsened, creating anxiety. It's the highest time in the human history where anxiety is the highest. The younger the people, the more anxious they are.
Absolutely.
I've never seen as many panic attacks as I see now in my 25 years of practice. I have never seen as many children being anxious and depressed as I've seen of late in the last 5 years. There has to be a reason. 5-10 years has to be a reason, because we are all trying to put ourselves out there as if we are very good and very special. We are all highly insecure. People who are out there, the more they show themselves, if they're not free, they are more insecure, and the insecurity and anxieties keep growing, right? And others who look at them, they have different problems. Ki, she's having a great life, or he's having a great life, and I'm not traveling enough, or I'm not looking this way, or I'm not fit enough, or whatever. So I feel that we are all going in a very insecure. It's creating a space of anxiety and lack of self-love. And we can't compare to other people. We have gifts which others don't, and they have gifts which we don't. So I feel liking your nose is also a problem, and not liking it is also a problem. Liking your nose too much is also a problem.
Oh, absolutely.
Both are two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Just being okay with what you are is probably
Right.
a more helpful approach.
And so many industries are thriving. Face editing apps, then
Absolutely.
makeup industry, skincare industry on the insecurities.
Absolutely.
And the sooner we realize that, where are we headed then? What
Yes,
will people make
absolutely.
money out of?
Absolutely. Even plastic surgery,
Oh yeah,
it's gone
cost
so big now.
अब इतना हमारी current generation में इतना stress है to look perfect, to be perfect because of so many insecurities and prevalence of social media. People then also push themselves much harder in the gym to look fitter, to look better. Do you think this pushing harder is working against them?
It depends on how much you're pushing. See, there is a very interesting principle. If anybody has done traditional yoga, I'm picking a principle from that, which is very helpful even in a workout space. Even I use it personally for myself, which is when you get into an asana. For example, let's say you get into a standing forward bend, where you touch your feet.
Right.
Now you can't touch your feet. Let's say your flexibility is not so good that you can touch your feet. You stop at first resistance. So let's say you're bending your back, and your back doesn't go all the way like this. It only goes here.
Right.
You stop here. You don't push it to go here. Because if you push it, your body will have an exactly opposite threat response of pushing back. Which is, you're putting your body under threat. And then your stress increases. Then it's not a nice practice. It becomes a stressful practice. But let's say you can bend up till you're comfortably. Your job is to now challenge it from here to maybe here. And for months, all you need to do is this much.
Okay.
Then there'll come a time when the flexibility here improves, and this becomes your first resistance.
Right.
Then you just challenge it till here.
Okay.
So this pushing hard, over hard, is not helpful. But pushing a little is not a bad idea, because there is a limit, and then there is a little challenge to that limit. But when you over push, you fatigue, you exhaust, you break down muscle, you threaten your body, you shouldn't come back from the gym feeling completely exhausted. I don't think that's a good way to gym. You should come back from the gym feeling a little worked out, a little tired, and a little like, not tired, more like, okay, you've done your work, you've pushed a bit, but not like you're fatigued and burnt out. So that boundary, I think people have to decide for themselves.
Okay. So in a nutshell then, अगर आप अपने आप को ज़्यादा पुश कर रहे हो जिम में beyond your capabilities, a lot beyond your capabilities, तो आप अपनी बॉडी को थ्रेट कर रहे हो तो कॉर्टिसोल रिलीज हो रहा है.
Exactly.
So you are under stress and rather than burning fat, आपकी
You're
body
storing
will
fat.
start storing fats.
Absolutely.
So again, that whole
Whole
cycle
cycle
of
repeats.
right. So not pushing would be a better option. And rightly said कि अगर आप जिम जा रहे हो और आप बहुत ही खराब मूड से वापस आ रहे हो, the whole idea behind working out is to feel better.
Exactly.
Your serotonin gets released, happy hormones release होते हैं. तो
Absolutely.
after the workout, if you're not feeling happy, it's not a good workout.
Clearly. And that tells you, actually your mood after your workout should tell you how your workout is.
Right.
It's a signal that you enjoyed or you actually fatigued yourself. That should be a signal that tells you how to regulate your workout for the next time.
तो जब हम फिटनेस की बात करते हैं तो हम न्यूट्रिशन की भी बात करते हैं, और न्यूट्रिशन की जहाँ बात आती है तो फास्टिंग की भी बात आती है. मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल एसोसिएट फास्टिंग विद वेट लॉस, बट फास्टिंग इज मच मोर देन वेट लॉस. इट इज ऑल्सो रिलेटेड टू मेंटल हेल्थ, जिस पे आज आप हमें डिटेल में बताएंगी कि कैसे.
सी फास्टिंग में आपका जब आपका डाइजेशन को रेस्ट मिलता है, जब आपको डाइजेस्ट नहीं करना होता है, तब आपका सिस्टम एक्टिवेट होता है, रिपेयर और रिजुविनेट रिस्पॉन्स, हील रिस्पॉन्स स्टार्ट होता है.
Okay.
सो जब पैरासिम्पैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम एक्टिवेट होता है, रेस्ट एंड डाइजेस्ट इसको हम बोलते हैं, तो आप रेस्ट कर रहे हो, आप डाइजेस्ट कर रहे हो. आपका डाइजेशन होने के बाद it starts to actually repair tissues that are damaged in the body.
Okay.
And heal tissues that are damaged in the body, in the brain also. Fix neurons that are damaged.
Okay.
So we need time out from eating and digesting.
Okay.
So eating हो गया, digesting हो गया. Now suppose you're fasting, you have a nice long window for the body to repair, detoxify, heal. And when it heals the body, it heals the brain. I mean, that's no difference. Brain is just a part of that body in that sense. Brain detoxifies. So mental clarity improves, your focus improves, your body feels light, your mind feels light. Your ability to feel relaxed and happy is better. So a lot of benefits of fasting are there. But again, you shouldn't fast to the point of threatening yourself. It's always, this balance is everything. This middle way is everything. If you are fasting to the point that you are now starving and you are dying of that starvation and feeling deprived, then you are going to put yourself in threat.
Right.
But if you are not fasting at all, then you are never giving yourself this space to detoxify, heal and repair. So now how can you increase this window, create a balance? This becomes a question.
कुछ लोग होते हैं जो फास्टिंग करना स्टार्ट करते हैं, 4 घंटे बाद बहुत ज़्यादा भूख लगती है, and then they order just anything and inhale it like a vacuum cleaner.
Yes.
So that is also not healthy. Then how do you control yourself from, the two extremes? Like you just said, moderation. But how do you control? Because इतनी ज़्यादा भूख लगी है, अब आप इसको कैसे रोकोगे? And not everybody is used to fasting.
Correct.
तो कैसे हम उस चीज़ को, like, to start with fasting, how do we do that?
I think a good way, it worked for me, and I think it's also a good way, is to use the night well.
Okay.
Because night we sleep. So anyway, we don't eat, luckily. So just extend that time, which is eat early and eat a little later breakfast. So that you just increase that window, so you don't have a super crash in the day.
Okay.
Then your tolerance for fasting gets better over a period of time. Then you can fast in the day also. But first you improve your tolerance for staying a little hungry by just extending your fasting time in the night. So suppose it's 8 hours that you're not eating because you're eating at 12 and then you're eating at 8, then you make that 10 and 10, then you make it 8 and 12, whatever is possible. Okay. Slowly. But night is a good place to use to fast. Also because you're sleeping, your system can really heal and repair. If your digestion is over before you sleep, then all your sleep time will be used in repairing and detoxifying your body.
Right. Is there an ideal number of hours that you should be fasting for?
See, I'm not a big fan of ideals. I feel it's all person to person.
Okay.
And I feel it's all your capacity. Start with your capacity and, like I said, challenge it a little over years, and before you know it, you have a lot of good and healthy habits. Like, give yourself 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Don't give yourself 5 months. Give yourself 5 years to inculcate small habits. At the end of 5 years, you'll see you're also working out, you're also able to do intermittent, you're also able to eat light, you're also able to meditate. Give yourself 5 years and start small. Everything will happen.
Since you just mentioned the word intermittent, so I have seen, a clear divide between people who are in the favor of intermittent fasting and the ones who do not like intermittent fasting at all, they consider it a hoax. What do you think? Like, let's just briefly cover it. What do you think about intermittent fasting then?
Again, like I said, I would leave it on an individual rather than saying this is good or this is bad. One thing that I know, even from earlier, even from Ayurvedic knowledge, is don't eat between meals and let the system have space between meals. If we see evolution, people didn't have so much food कि वो जब देखो तब खाते जाएंगे. They had to pick and gather, or they had to hunt, and then they had to sit one fine time and eat. So they had to fast and feast. So if you see our evolutional tendencies, and if you see even not too long back, a few, I think when India didn't have so much money and when Indians didn't have so much food in their systems, they were probably just not eating like this. All the time, plenty of food is there, and whenever you want, you're snacking and eating, and Zomato and Swiggy. I mean, this is all new. So just go back a few hundred years and see how your see your great grandmother, what they ate, how they ate, and you will realize that they didn't eat like this. They ate with gaps.
There are two questions in my mind then. Number one, I'll start with this one. Because our ancestors come from a time of a lot of famine, तो हमारी बॉडी उस तरीके से वायर्ड है कि हम फास्टिंग करें, एक स्पेसिफिक टाइम पे खाएं, देन फास्ट करें, लाइक यू जस्ट मेंशन्ड. नाउ बिकॉज दैट इज नॉट बीइंग फॉलोड, पीपल आर ईटिंग एज एंड व्हेनेवर दे वांट. उसकी वजह से प्रॉब्लम्स लाइक फैटी लिवर आर ऑन द राइज इन आवर जनरेशन, और लेट्स से वन जनरेशन अबव अस, इन आवर पेरेंट्स. तो what do you have to say about it? कि फैटी लिवर और ये सब, because they're lifestyle diseases, they're coming out of this practice of completely changing the way we eat, or is there something more to it?
I think it's a combination of less manual labor, too much food availability,
Right.
bad food availability, excessively processed food availability. We order a lot of things from outside. We have no idea what ingredients have gone in it. We don't know what kind of oils have been used. We eat a lot out. We have a lot more stress. We have a lot more insecurity and competition. We don't stick to one job for 40 years like our parents or grandparents used to. We want to change. We want to grow. Nobody's contented with wherever they are. They always have to go better and better. Lifestyle diseases are a result of all of this together. It's not one factor. It's the whole way. It's the whole movement. And we are seeing all of this is also there. Lifestyle diseases also there. It's there for us to see. The proof is samne hai ki health has gone waste. Longevity has improved, but the health has gone worse.
So then another question that I wanted to ask is snacking. The concept of snacking, कि हमें थोड़ी थोड़ी देर में कुछ कुछ खाना है. It can also be healthy snacking. But is healthy snacking, कि थोड़ी थोड़ी देर में कुछ कुछ अपनी बॉडी को फीड करना, is it a healthy practice?
I don't think so, but I would say the answer, your body is the only thing that can give you the answer, provided you're in tune with body signals and not eating out of craving. Most of the time the problem is that इसका differentiation easy नहीं है. Mostly you're going, just opening some dabba, biscuit, chips, then you're moving ahead, doing something, coming back to the fridge, opening the fridge, eating something. So this tendency is getting wired in the system. I would say don't eat something for 4 hours and see what happens. You feel better, you feel worse. Then your own body will guide you as to what is working and what is not working. Even healthy snacking. I mean, of course, healthy is better than unhealthy, but even snacking, you see what is, I don't think most of us even know what is our tolerance for going without food.
Right.
We don't even know because we are all the time snacking. So at least you should know. And then you know what's a good window for you.
Right. So then the concept of snacking is coming out of a place of unawareness, unconsciousness about your own bodies.
Absolutely.
अगर हम बस एक चीज़ की बात करें, if there is something that someone could change in their lifestyle, just one habit that would benefit both their mind and their body, what do you think should it be?
I think it could be either mindful eating or mindful walking. One of the two things.
Mindful walking. Okay.
One of the two things. Mindful eating will help regulate, like I said, your satiety, your food habits. Also, it gives you space. Because अभी आप खाना खा रहे हो तो focus से आप खाना खा रहे हो तो it's not like your focus will only remain while you eat. It will remain after that because the brain has come to a settled space, right? So this is one activity. Without changing anything in your routine, you're anyway eating, just eat with awareness, eat a little slowly. तो जो खाना आपको 10 मिनट में आप खा लेते हो वो आपको 20 मिनट लगेगा, 15 मिनट लगेगा, that's all. The other is mindful walking. You walk to your car, you walk to a public transport place, you walk from your office to let's say the canteen, or go down for a break or whatever. Then whatever time you're walking, you're always aware of walking. At that time, you're not scrolling, checking your phone, doing nothing, because now your walking starts. So when you're walking, every step that you take, you're aware and you're taking that step. Now again, what this does is, it gives a lot of opportunity in the day to reset.
Right.
Because we get up from our tables and go here and there. In the house, we walk. If you're working in the house, we move between rooms. So we just become more aware of the walking. Again, it gives many, many, many opportunities for the mind to settle and for the body to regulate, because the mind is settling. So your fight and flight systems come down even if you're stressed, and your body starts to regulate as well.
What a perspective. सुनने में अच्छा है लेकिन थोड़ा प्रैक्टिकल नहीं है, बिकॉज एवरीबडी इट विल टेक अ लॉट ऑफ वर्क. क्योंकि जब भी हम कहीं, इफ आई एम वॉकिंग टुवर्ड्स माई कार, आई विल ऑलवेज बी थिंकिंग अबाउट वेयर एम आई हेडेड, रास्ता कौन सा लेना है, कितना टाइम लगेगा, वहाँ पहुँच के पहली चीज़ क्या होगी, गाड़ी से उतरते ही गाड़ी की पार्किंग मिलेगी या नहीं मिलेगी, उतरते ही किधर जाना है. तो इतनी सारी चीज़ें दिमाग में चल रही
पर वो तो आगे जाने के बाद आप अपने घर से पार्किंग तक तो माइंडफुली वॉक कर सकते हो. I'm saying not when you have to plan and decide. Just आप वॉशरूम जा रहे हो, किचन जा रहे हो.
Right.
I'm saying कितनी बार हम दिन में चलते हैं, छोटा छोटा. If ये हम कर क्या रहे हैं, हम अवेयरनेस को एक एक्टिविटी के साथ क्लब कर रहे हैं, और कुछ नहीं, जो हम करते ही हैं, वैसे भी करते हैं. बस ये कि जब भी वो एक्टिविटी करें हम अवेयर हो जाए, जब भी खाए तब हम अवेयर हो जाए. और हमेशा नहीं तो भी ठीक है, कार पार्क तक मैं अवेयरनेस से चलूंगी, कार पार्क से घर तक मैं अवेयरनेस से चलूंगी. एटलीस्ट ये दो स्टार्ट करेंगे. सो आई एम सेइंग जितने ऑफन आप लाइफ में छोटी छोटी स्पेसेस में अवेयरनेस लाओगे, उतना स्पेस मिलेगा आपके पूरे नर्वस सिस्टम को रीसेट होने के लिए, विच इज व्हाट इज रिक्वायर्ड फॉर बोथ आवर मेंटल एंड फिजिकल हेल्थ. You know, without taking out extra time to do. There's other stuff you can do, but minimum to start with, this is a good place to start.
Right. Mindful eating or mindful walking?
The trouble is remembering to do it.
Right.
That is the trouble. So that will only come when you start actually practicing it. This is no other way.
And again, like you said, you have to start building small. तो थोड़ी छोटी habits build करना. Maybe you can then level up and, you know, take it to another level कि आप कुछ भी कर रहे हो तो आप present हो in the moment.
Exactly.
That is another level, whole another level, I would say.
Yes. और होता है, when you build small, that's why I said you give yourself time and you start building small, and you will see in 2-3 years you will see you have at least 20 new healthier habits without even putting that much effort.
Sadia, you're also an author and you've written this book called You're Simply Perfect, which is for teens. उसमें आप teens को mindfulness के बारे में और healthy habits के बारे में बता रहे हैं. But वही teens कल को चल के adults बनेंगे. So what is one practice that everybody in their teens or as an adult should incorporate in their life? What is that one advice you would want to give everyone?
See, this whole book actually is divided into 4 parts.
Okay.
Being friends with yourself, being friends with your mind, being friends with your body, and being friends with your emotions.
Okay.
The whole book is about being friends with yourself. Actually, for children. And this advice is identical for adults. There's no difference. In fact, a lot of adults have read the book and really enjoyed it and said, ये तो मेरे पे पूरा apply होता है. सिर्फ example school के हैं.
Right.
But it applies to me completely because it does. Because बच्चे हो या adults हो, mind का wiring is very similar. Compassion कम होता है. हम अपने आप को दूसरों से compare करते हैं. So these habits have to stop. This comparison, I'm not enough. I'm not doing enough. Somebody else is better. All the time, this critical way of looking at yourself rather than an appreciative way. Because, I mean, for example, I can say I don't like my body. My body is digesting my food. It is breathing. It is managing my heart, it's managing my liver. I am not even putting effort here.
Right.
It is doing 1,000 things for me. And then I come, look at myself in the mirror and say, I don't like my body. What does that even mean? I mean, it's actually silly. Because you're just not recognizing how much your body is doing. And you're only looking at, oh, I don't like my nose, I don't like my eyes, my hair are frizzy, I have acne, or I have fat here or there. I mean, this is ridiculous, actually. If you really see the whole picture, it seems very silly to criticize your body or yourself. So we are not seeing what is working. So the advice is appreciate and look at what is working. You know, what we call gratitude practice and journal and all. We made it very mechanical. It's just about appreciating that I'm walking. My feet work, my legs work.
Absolutely.
I'm seeing, my eyes work. How can I even be bothered about how they look? You know? So when you're appreciative of your body, you recognize that even without effort, it does so much for you. Your mind does so much for you. Your system does so much for you. You stop this habit of unnecessarily going against it. So the only advice is थोड़ा ये जो egoic way of living है ना कि मैं और मुझे करना है, तो थोड़ा साइड में रख के देखो कि चल क्या रहा है सच में. सच में ये चल रहा है कि बहुत कुछ आपके लिए हो रहा है. और उसके लिए appreciation होना, gratitude होना is so important.
Right.
Because it's a realistic picture. ये कोई leap of faith और practice नहीं है, ये सच है. उसको बस देखना है.
I read it somewhere and now I'm remembering it because you were telling all these things that, you know, triggered that story in my mind. That somebody else is happy in less than what you have and somebody else is praying for what you already have.
Absolutely.
कि आपके पास जो सब है वो किसी के पास नहीं है और वो उसके लिए रोज रोज
Absolutely.
जाके प्रे कर रहा है और वो सोच रहा है and we are not appreciating of what we already have in our life.
Absolutely.
So that is something that we need to be more mindful of. So thank you for
Absolutely.
putting that perspective and, you know, putting that mindful perspective of being more grateful, more appreciative, more friendly towards ourselves. I think it is going to help a lot of us. Sadia, then what is that one misconception about mental health and fitness that you would like to clear up? बिल्कुल गलत है और लोगों को ऐसा नहीं मानना चाहिए. What is that one misconception?
कि ये सब तो बहुत ज़्यादा करना पड़ेगा और बहुत समय लगेगा.
Okay.
ये आज आप शुरू कर सकते हो और 5 मिनट में शुरू कर सकते हो. आपको नहीं लग रहा कि वो 5 मिनट करके कोई फ़ायदा है, वो आपका प्रॉब्लम है. लेकिन शुरू तो आप 5 मिनट में कर सकते हो और आज ही कर सकते हो. सब कुछ परफेक्टली किया तो ही कुछ रिजल्ट मिलेगा इज़ नॉट ट्रू. Is not true. You get results with one thing, two things consistently done in small amounts also. So this whole idea na, and the problem is 10,000 people are now saying 10,000 things that you're supposed to do. So your mind is thoroughly confused and you do nothing. It's an analysis paralysis kind of a situation कि आप सुनते सब कुछ हो करते कुछ नहीं हो. You know, that is a problem. So the myth is कि I have to work very very hard, and I feel no, you can work very little to start with and just start the process of today. Like if you don't even go for a walk and every day you're like I have to go for an hour long walk and then every day you're I don't want to go today, just go and sit in the park and come back, but just go. That's a start. You don't have to either go for a 1 hour walk or not go at all. You know, just go down, wear your shoes, wear your clothes, go down, walk a little, 5 minutes, 7 minutes. Some movement is useful. That's all. Start off. So don't be idealistic and a perfectionist. I think that's the biggest problem in this whole space.
No, you're right. People are either all or nothing. या तो बिल्कुल ही जिम जाएंगे, हेल्दी खाएंगे, टाइम से उठेंगे, स्केड्यूल में रहेंगे और एक ब्रेक आया और फिर 4 महीने नहीं जाएंगे. मैं किसी की अपनी बात नहीं कर रही हूँ, but happened with me. But people are like that. Either they are all in or they are doing nothing at all.
Absolutely.
So this mindset has to change then.
Exactly.
Taking small steps every day rather than just jumping completely in with everything that you have is not going to help.
Yeah. And also, you know, having that ideal goal in mind is not helpful. कि I want to lose 12 kgs weight. अब आप चेक कर रहे हो मशीन पे 2 किलो 3 किलो भी कम हुआ नहीं हुआ. Now you've got upset with it and then you stopped.
Right.
Because the goal itself is a problem. The goal has to be my endurance and my flexibility and my strength has to be better. And there's no way it can't be better if you're doing some stuff. If you're eating right and working out, it has to get better. Matlab, it's like this, you know. One spiritual teacher gave a very good example, and he said that if you throw a stone, it has to fall.
Right.
वो हवा में से डिसअपियर नहीं होने वाला है. आप इतना भी एफर्ट डालोगे तो उसका इतना रिजल्ट तो मिलने ही वाला है. इट्स नॉट दैट कि आपके एफर्ट का रिजल्ट नहीं मिलेगा, ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता. बट माइंडसेट ये है कि रिजल्ट ऐसा होना चाहिए. दैट इज व्हाट इज कॉजिंग द प्रॉब्लम. दैट माइंडसेट को हटा के, रिजल्ट को छोड़ के, यू वर्क ऑन जस्ट बिल्डिंग your strength, your health, your well-being. That's all you're supposed to focus on. That's also the reason people don't meditate or feel कि कोई फ़ायदा नहीं हुआ, because they'll sit and say 15 मिनट बिल्कुल काम नहीं था. In fact, thoughts became worse. And for 1 week they will do this and they say, no, meditation is not my scene. That's not how it works at all. Obviously, thoughts are going to rush in if you sit for the first week. You sit for a little time and it's a practice of dealing with your mind. So then over a period of time, it will build. So these things, this result oriented work and then ditching the whole thing, it's because of too much attachment to the goal rather than the process.
So then it's about the journey and not the destination. Holds true.
Absolutely. And I don't even think there is a destination actually, because sometimes you do something and then you realize something else works better for you and then you move. You know, some people start aerobics and then get into lifting, somebody starts here, gets into something else, because then life also takes its own shape and direction, things you enjoy. So you have to be a little open ki, let me start this and see what I like.
So being fixated is the problem.
Absolutely.
Have to be flexible.
Absolutely.
So then if somebody is watching this podcast and you want one insight to be taken away from this whole conversation that we have, what do you think that one insight should be?
That one insight, I think, should be that most of your body and mind are not in your conscious control.
Okay.
And acting like they should all be in your conscious control. Like you should be able to lose weight when you want to, build muscle when you want to, your belly should flatten when you want it to, your mind should settle when you want it to, you should not be anxious. All this is you trying to control systems which are out of your control essentially. The job, the insight is make friends with these systems. Don't try to dominate them and control them. Okay. One good analogy is that, you know, when you're training an elephant, it's used to walking one path for many years. Now you want it to walk another path. Just think what will go in that training. Every day you'll have to pull the elephant here. Every day the elephant will go there. Every day you'll pull it here, it will go there. It will do this for months until its mind, its body is now aligned to the new path. Your body is like the elephant. Your mind is like the elephant. You know, I should eat well, I should. They are not going to listen to you. They are not in your control. So don't try to dominate and control. Gently keep trying to get them to the right path. Keep trying to move them in the way you want. They'll keep going back. Have patience. The body also learns, the mind learns. It builds its own new learning. Give it space to learn, and that can only be done if you consistently, without goal orientation, without fixation, gently, consistently do your work. That's all is your job. That will change when it has to change. You don't try to control how your body and mind will change. Your job is to do your practice, your work, your workout, whatever, your right eating, whatever it is that you're doing.
I also wanted to talk about habit forming, but you've already started this topic through this example. So habit forming की जब हम बात करते हैं तो हमें friendly होना पड़ेगा, we know that. But बहुत सारे लोग होते हैं जो over time try करे जा रहे हैं to form a habit and not commenting on any specific way of forming a habit, but just trying to, you know, get into the habit of going to the gym every day, but are unable to do so. Now, what do you think should they incorporate? The first thing that they should, you know, incorporate in their lifestyle when it comes to forming a habit, other than being friendly, or just one step that they can take, you know, physically to get into that habit forming process?
I think the biggest thing with habit forming is to or maybe two things. One is to see where is the resistance.
Okay.
If I want to go to the gym every day, what stops me? and what I can do about what is stopping me. So I have to look at that. I don't have to look at the gym then.
Right.
I have to look at whether it's boredom, whether I'm actually tired to go. Then if I'm really tired and exhausted, then I need to bring the idea of going every day down and maybe go a few times a week. Make it a little more digestible, reasonable. If it is boredom, then I have to sit without my gadgets every day for half an hour and learn to tolerate my boredom.
Right.
So that my urge of being bored or procrastinating doesn't take over. So what is the resistance is what I have to see and then work with it. But I feel if you reduce goal orientation, reduce pressure, your motivation and or your orientation to doing something will definitely become easier for you. It is also this hard way of I must and I have to, which makes it difficult to do something.
Okay. Yeah, right. I think resistance, most of us are unaware of our body, number one. So where the resistance is coming from, we are not aware.
Absolutely.
We don't want to go to the gym because we are lazy is the most common excuse. But why are we lazy? Nobody thinks about that.
Yeah.
I don't feel like going to the gym. Why do you not feel like going to the gym?
Absolutely.
Is something that we are not focusing on. So working on the why, I would say, why is that thing happening?
Correct.
To figure out the resistance, and then working on it would help form a habit better.
Yes. Yes.
So why am I not able to sleep is going to help me then.
Yeah. Then you know it's because you're overthinking. You know it's because you've been stressing a lot in the night or you've been hustling a lot towards late evening. Then you know what are these things. Then you reduce that.
Right.
Because then that's your impediment. ऐसे you might have to reduce 4 or 5 things to regulate your sleep, you know. But I'm saying unless we start talking about what is stopping us, what is the impediment, just pushing ourselves to sleep, it's not going to happen. It doesn't. It's
Absolutely.
naturally not going to happen.
A major perspective shift is happening with this podcast in me. I hope that translates to the audience as well. Now let's switch to fitness again. तो हम फिटनेस की जब बात करते हैं, मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल ड्रेड इट कि जिम जाने का मन नहीं है या वर्कआउट करने में डर लगता है या जाने का मन नहीं है क्योंकि मोटिवेशन नहीं है. सो इज देयर अ वे टू ट्रिक योर ब्रेन इनटू एक्चुअली लविंग the exercise or loving the workout at the gym or at home, wherever? Like, can we do that?
I don't think it's a good idea to trick your brain.
Okay.
And I'm not actually a very big fan of words like hack, trick your brain. The reason is I feel you have to develop a level of honesty with yourself.
Okay.
Fitness requires effort. And the sooner you accept it, the better. Because if you're going to try to trick yourself into believing there is not much effort and only fun, it's not true, right? The tolerance for putting in consistent effort can only come when you actually say this will require this much work. You have the things spread out in front of you clearly. You systematically say, okay, this is too much for me, this is manageable, this is easy, let me try in this range. So unless you're honest, you're not going to be able to customize a good routine for yourself.
Okay.
So I would say don't look at hacks, don't look at tricks, don't look at shortcuts for anything. Look at what is needed. If you want to learn to meditate, you will have to give yourself months and years to slowly learn. Meditation hacks, they never work. People come to me, I know people have done all kinds of things and actually they've spent a couple of years doing all kinds of things and they come to me and I know it has not worked because everything has been a hack. So instead of tricking yourself, doing small things for years, start with real honesty, consistent effort in a small way and continue to do it, and before you know it, you will be somewhere. You know, so I don't think we should go down that route. It's always good to know that things require some amount of effort, some amount of work, and that we will do that because we care for ourselves.
We have been running after tricks and hacks, and so many YouTube channels are feeding on this insecurity or the urge to do things immediately.
Absolutely.
क्योंकि इतनी ज़्यादा वीडियोस वायरल जाती हैं YouTube पे कि
Absolutely.
इस हैक से पाएं बेली फैट से छुटकारा. Use this one trick to curb your cravings.
बिल्कुल.
But actually there's no trick or hack.
नहीं होता है ना, because I would want somebody to come up and say मैंने ये हैक यूज किया और हो गया मेरा बेली फैट कम. तब बात बनती है ना. देखो प्रोफेशनल्स हमारे जो बैकएंड में बैठे हैं ना, उनको पता चलता है कि लोग कहाँ कहाँ जाके क्या क्या करके आए हैं और कुछ काम नहीं किया है. सो ये इंस्टेंट ग्रेटिफिकेशन का जो ज़माना है ना कि मुझे अभी ये कम करना है और अभी ये हो गया, ऑफन दिस इज हैजार्डस. अगर आप मेंटल ट्रिक यूज़ करो तो भी बेनिफिशियल नहीं है, बट आप कभी कभी फिजिकल ट्रिक्स यूज़ करते हो कोई चीज़ कम करने के लिए, क्रैश डाइट्स करते हो या जो भी है. आई मीन दिस इज हैजार्डस. यू डोंट इवन नो इफ योर बॉडी कैन टेक इट, इट कांट टेक इट. आई हैव नोन पीपल जिनका बीपी लो हो जाता है और फिर वो 2 साल तक रिकवर नहीं कर पाते लो बीपी से, क्योंकि उन्होंने कुछ बहुत ही 2 महीना क्रैश कुछ किया. सो यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड बॉडी ऐसे नहीं चलता. बॉडी बहुत समझ से रेगुलेट हो के अप रेगुलेट होता है, डाउन रेगुलेट होता है. उसका अपना लर्निंग कर्व है, उसको देना ही पड़ेगा वो स्पेस. तो डोंट ट्रिक, डोंट हैक. इट रिक्वायर्स सम अमाउंट ऑफ एफर्ट. एक्सेप्ट इट. द सूनर यू एक्सेप्ट इट द बेटर. And do it in easy, manageable bites. Don't stress yourself also. So that would be my advice for sure. It would be, tricking would never be my advice.
Being patient. That is what most of us in our generation don't have. Time and patience. So we need to first of all learn patience and be patient with everything around us, not just our body, but our work, our, everything in our life. The one key aspect is patience that we are lacking.
Absolutely. And not only in this fitness and everything, people are selling you impatience only. How to make so much money so quickly, how to be successful so quickly. You ask the person who's selling that how much time and energy it took for that person to even come to this point.
Right.
It's never ever easy. It's
how to get rid of your pimples in 24 hours.
It's never easy. So all these constant selling of quick and making people believe कि जल्दी से सब हो सकता है ना, it's a hoax, it's a lie. And I mean we have to be sensible enough not to believe it.
Right.
अब जो बेचेंगे वो तो बेचेंगे, हमको आंखें खोलनी पड़ेगी कि क्या खरीदना चाहिए और क्या नहीं. It's like that.
So now that we are talking about our generation and the lack of patience and everything so much, there is this thing that I wanted to know कि अगर कोई किसी difficult time से गुजर रहा है mentally, it can be a breakup, it can be a personal loss, should they push through and work out, or should they just take a break?
See, when you're going through a big life event which is taking up a lot of your emotional energies, grief, loss, following whatever, breakup, death, or even constructing a house, buying a house, it could be anything big, then a lot of your energy resources are already used up. You need rest and recovery. Now, exercise will do 2 things for you. One is, if you overdo it, it will fatigue you further. The other is, it can actually give you a break from a lot of things and create some movement and shift. So I would say, take it easy. And if you do exercise, it should be light exercise. So that you don't further tax your resources, you use it as an energizing mechanism, not as a further tiring mechanism. Your system definitely needs more comfort, more rest and recovery when it is being emotionally taxed. So you need to eat more comfortable. Again, don't search for comfort, junk food, warm, comfortable, home-cooked food, things which will be nurturing, not adding to the mess, so to say.
So when we talk about taking a break, the break should be friendly towards yourself. It should not be like you are going on a break and taking a lot of carbs and sugar, because then it will trigger your stress all the more.
Absolutely.
And you will get into that vicious cycle of high cortisol release, then stress, then not going to the gym because you're already overwhelmed with so much stress in your life.
Absolutely.
So again, the whole cycle repeats.
Yeah. So a friendly break, light exercise. What can really help is slow yoga.
Okay.
Because slow yoga does 2 things. It creates energy and balances the mind. It does both.
Okay.
So you're not pushing, but you're also not moving. And it is slow. So you're taking time in your asanas, practice, you're having breaths, 5 breaths you're holding, 10 breaths you're holding, whatever is comfortable. So you're doing a very gentle, and plus you're opening, so your lymph drainage improves, your subtle energy channels, whatever in the body, the energetic movements happen in your body. So what yoga can do is make you very regulated without making it heavy or intense.
So then another perspective to look at this break would be to break away from the mental thoughts that are going on from in your mind, because you're already under so much stress. So like you already mentioned in the beginning, mindful eating or mindful walking, or mindful resting,
Correct.
sitting at a place, being with
Correct.
yourself, not letting your thoughts intrude and not letting them tax you out. So that is one way to look at the break aspect of it then.
Yes. Digital detox.
But is it possible when you're under a lot of stress, you want to run away from it? And being with yourself is then going to not make you, be at peace. Because आप खाली बैठे हो, आपके दिमाग में और thoughts आते हैं. And that is why people give up on meditation most of the time. क्योंकि अकेले बैठते हैं तो thoughts आते हैं. And you're already under stress. So being with yourself is going to maybe exaggerate that uncomfortable feeling.
To some extent, it will also help you process how you feel. Because being with yourself doesn't mean getting caught up in thoughts. Being with yourself also means knowing how you feel emotionally. Suppose I'm feeling stressed. I can even say, okay, I need to really relax. My back is stiff. Okay, I will rest my back. My neck is stiff. Okay, I'll move it a little. So being with yourself is also awareness of your body. So then you're moving from the thoughts into the present, and then you're aware of your body. But you can do this only when you keep your phone away, keep other things away, keep distractions away. Then you can regulate your body, So being with yourself, and that's why I said slow yoga, because just telling people to become aware and regulate the body is not easy, because they don't know how, unless you know how. But if you know how, it's very powerful. But if you don't know how, then what slow yoga will do is some of this. It will help you to open up your neck, your wrists, your joints, things that are holding emotion in the body. And it will help you to process that.
Oh, very good point. So next thing that I want to ask is, the stress that we have in our mind, it not only manifests into our thoughts, but it also manifests in our body physically. So हम देखते हैं लोगों की shoulders heavy हो रहे हैं, सर में दर्द हो रहा है, थकान हो रही है. This is all manifestation of stress in your body. अलग अलग तरीके से बॉडी में फिजिकली दिखने लगता है स्ट्रेस. So how do we cope with that?
Yeah. See, we have to know that the body ka organs and muscles have two types of functions. One is the physical functions. One is psychological functions. Okay. For example, shoulder. Shoulder क्या करने में काम आता है? आप थोड़ा सोच के बोलो.
Shoulder, hand movement.
Hand movement में काम आता है. और shoulder क्या क्या करता है?
Posture and resting our head and neck.
Correct. वो physical हो गया. Shoulder burden भी उठाता है. हम बैग भी शोल्डर पे उठाते हैं, हम बर्डन्स भी शोल्डर पे उठाते हैं. तो इफ यू हैव अ साइकोलॉजिकल बर्डन यू विल हैव हेवी शोल्डर्स.
Right.
So its job is to lift burdens. Now whether it's a physical burden or psychological burden, it's going to lift it. Yeah, you see, my hands, for example, I can lift, I can move things with my hands. I can also push people away with my hands. It has a boundary function. So when somebody is intruding, I'll feel like pushing, but I can't push. So what will happen to my hands? There will be stuff stored in my hands. There's energy, emotional energy stored in my hands, because I'm not able to push you out. You're intruding, and I'm not able to verbally, with my hands, with my legs, use. See, a child uses their hands and legs. You go close to a child, they'll push you away. So they use psychological functions freely. We as adults don't use our psychological functions freely. So for us, there is a lot more energy storage, emotional energy storage in our muscles, in our hands, in our shoulders, in our neck. That's why we have stiff necks, stiff shoulders. And then slowly we develop a disease, because we don't look at it, we don't open it ever. So then we develop a physical ailment. That's how mind can create body ailments. That's the process. So that is why it is very important to be aware of your body and open up your body. But this has to be very mindful, slow, with pause. This is not going to the gym. This is actually realizing what my body needs and doing that.
And how can we do that? Through yoga?
Yoga is a good way to create awareness of the body. Okay. Actually, you can do it even through meditation and body scan meditation and multiple other things. But because, see, all this requires you to go through a learning, proper good learning with somebody who knows. Even yoga requires you to go through a good learning with somebody who knows, right? So at this time, if I say yoga, there are 10,000 types of yoga now. आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट हैवी ड्यूटी आसनास वेयर एक के बाद एक आप कर रहे हो, स्ट्रेस कर रहे हो, पसीना हो रहा है आपको. दैट्स नॉट व्हाट आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट अ वेरी gentle, very regulated hatha yoga practice which includes pranayama, includes meditative spaces, includes lot of breath awareness, stopping, knowing of the body, where is my first resistance, where I can move a little more, where I have to now stop. As you do this kind of a practice, your awareness of your body is very good. And that actually helps in the gym. It helps everywhere to know where are your limits and where you should stop and where you should push.
So, years of high stress lifestyle and not working out is going to then impact the body drastically, because you're already mentally
Correct.
in that stress cycle and you're not releasing that stress, neither mentally nor physically. So that high cortisol level is now going to, get amplified. Okay. So be very mindful. Go to the gym or do some yoga or take some help and do some stretching and release the stress. Is there some sort of food that you can take to regulate the stress in your body, or de-stress the whole body?
Yes, I think the food has to be not pleasurable necessarily, but nourishing. Warm, freshly made, home cooked at the right time, light is ideal. These are very nourishing foods when you're stressed, like warm khichdi, for example, warm dal, soup, which is not necessarily very fun to eat, but it's comforting to eat. And for each culture, we have different comfort foods. Like for somebody from South India, dahi rice may be, curd rice may be a very comforting food. For somebody else, it may be different. So it's fine. But preferably foods which are light, not oily, which in the Ayurvedic traditions are called sattvic foods. So eating sattvic foods is very regulating for the nervous system.
So there are then right type of food that you can take.
Yeah, those foods don't agitate the body. They don't over-energize, they don't depress, they don't agitate. They keep a balance.
So less spicy, less oily, and maybe less tasty?
Not necessarily. Warm, fresh food can be so tasty. Normal, what you eat, dal, chawal, sabzi, roti, soup. All pretty tasty things. It's not that they're not tasty. They're just not overloaded on bad sugars and processed stuff and whatever. They're just simple, moderately spiced, not terribly spiced.
Okay. So Sadia, would you say stress also impacts performance, not just in the gym but in life?
Yeah, certainly, because it creates so much fatigue and burnout. When we are in fight and flight for a long time, then there's chronic inflammation in the body, and then there is burnout in the body, and that impacts all physical and mental performance. Because when you're burnt out, you can't be clear. You have brain fog. You can't be focused. You can't make decisions. Your problem solving is weak.
Right.
All of this is affected. So naturally, how will you function in life? And you're overwhelmed because you're tired. You don't want people to talk. You don't want to listen to what people have to say. You snap. You become frustrated. You become easily irritated. So your relationships also suffer. Not just your work suffers, your relationships suffer, everything suffers. Because naturally, when the system doesn't have space, it can't respond to anything.
Absolutely. And then breathing and mindfulness then come into play. What do you have to say about the breathing exercise that should be incorporated when you're feeling so much overwhelmed or stressed or not in the right mindset?
See, I feel breathing with awareness should be a part anyway of life. It should not just be done when you are overwhelmed. Nowadays, breath work has become a very trending word, but actually we have always had pranayama, which is nothing but control of breath or managing breath. And if you study pranayama, very clearly they are able to tell you which breath when. So one very simple breath practice from pranayama is your nadi shodhana practice or your anulom vilom practice. Now what that does is it balances the sympathetic and parasympathetic.
Okay.
By breathing through one nostril and going through other, when we go through this alternative nostril breathing, we are actually balancing the energy and the relaxation space,
Okay.
and coming to a centered space.
Hmm.
So at least, if not many pranayamas, at least this should be a part of your life. Or if you're doing Om chanting, you prefer that, you can do that. But these are very balancing breathing practices, which can help in anyway remaining centered and going through. But I would say, without anybody's supervision, without correct supervision, or rather just because something is trending, don't start breathing heavy or strangely, because that's not, it actually impacts nervous system. Breathing is one activity which is both, if you think about it, voluntary and involuntary.
Hmm.
Everything else is either voluntary or involuntary.
Hmm.
Like your heartbeat is not voluntary. You can't control your heart rate. But breathing, you can control, and if you don't control, it still works.
Hmm.
So this is one space in your body which you can use to work with other things that you can't control.
Hmm.
So if you control your breath, and because breath is so central to our life, if you can manage your breath, you can actually slow down your heartbeat, improve your digestion, do everything else which breath is associated with.
Hmm.
You see? So definitely breathing correctly with some pranayama possibilities is a very good thing. And unfortunately, even people who teach yoga don't focus on pranayama now.
Hmm.
They just teach asanas to become like an exercise.
Hmm.
But breath is such an integral part of the practice.
Hmm. Would you say there is a right time to do this breath work? Because let's be honest, nobody wants somebody breathing heavily during a meeting at 2
of
during the
course.
day.
No, I also don't even believe, they say the ideal is actually in the morning and in the evenings, twilight. So after you finish your work time and before you start all of this,
Okay.
you just spend 5 minutes with alternate nostril breathing, once, twice a day. I'm saying small doses, that's all.
So, is there also an ideal or good time for somebody to work out? Some people prefer it in the morning, some prefer it in the evening, some prefer at night, some prefer during the day. Do you think there is a correct time for somebody to be working out for the maximum benefit?
See, first I would say work out according to your high energy times.
Okay.
So everybody's high energy time is different. Some people have very high energy early morning, some people have no energy early morning.
Right.
So I don't think early morning is, for example, something I would recommend to everybody. Somebody works out better at 11 o'clock in the morning, right? So I would say keep it with, of course, your schedule, but then also your own energy time. The only thing I would say is don't keep it close to your sleep time, because exercise energizes and sleep, you need to calm down. So that will then create a little conflict in the body. So don't work close to, it should, I think exercise should finish before your dinner. It shouldn't be pushed late, then dinner late. I mean, all of that shouldn't happen. It should be done by evening, and then you can have your dinner and then you can sleep. So that would help. But otherwise, I would say use your time. Use whatever works for you.
But for somebody who doesn't find time during the day, maybe in the morning, they start their day early and they don't have the time to work out in the morning. Obviously not during the day because they're at work. And then evening they come back, they have some other household chores. And night is the only time for them to work out. Then what should they do?
See, the only thing is it will impact sleep. You just have to accept it then. I mean, then that's what it is. Then between early morning and late night, whatever is possible, you have to choose. But night it will impact. It will affect sleep, because it is getting pulled into this is an energizing sympathetic nervous system activity. And that is a parasympathetic thing. So it needs that space. Body needs to settle down into sleep.
Right.
So anything that is going to activate or agitate the body is not going to let you sleep.
Okay. So then it is going to... These are two contrasting activities. So like you mentioned, parasympathetic and sympathetic, and you're triggering the sympathetic part of the brain by working out at night, which ideally and logically speaking shouldn't be done.
Yeah.
Because at night you should be focusing towards the parasympathetic side, mindfulness, meditation, breath work,
Absolutely.
relaxing, taking time off of gadgets. But when you go to the gym, there is a high music.
Absolutely. It's a pumping space.
Right.
So that's not helpful. A small light post-dinner walk in the park is fine. That works, because that helps to digest your food, and it's also a slowing down activity. Again, not running. Just light walking in a park is fine. Post-dinner walks are good, but not like 45 minutes, 1 hour, heavy duty, not tiring. Short, easy walks. That's fine.
which can be done mindfully also, like you mentioned.
Yeah,
So in a way, triggering the parasympathetic side of the brain.
correct.
Okay. So no workout, but light walks or light
Yeah.
stretching,
Light
maybe light
stretching.
yoga.
Yes, yes. Anything that is light and not going to interfere with your digestion. It's going to help your digestion and not interfere with. That's important.
Okay. So Sadia, if somebody has tried everything from journaling to mindfulness to meditation, but they still feel stuck, what do you think they should do next?
I think that they haven't tried it correctly.
Okay.
Not that, because these are not open and shut projects. You do and you leave and you say, this is not working for me. These are based on some deep wisdom principles. Like if I write a gratitude journal, and every night I write 3 things I'm grateful for, and so I just think and say, I'm grateful for having a family, I'm grateful for having food on my table, and I have not felt it, then there's no gratitude. Then it's a cognitive exercise, it's a brain exercise, it's not a heart exercise only. So it is all these things are never about doing. They are always about embodying.
Okay.
They're always about experiencing. So वो इंटरनल एक्सपीरियंस जो है वो विजडम के साथ होना चाहिए. इट शुड नॉट बी कि आपने ऐप शुरू किया, 15 मिनट मेडिटेट किया, ऐप बंद किया, फिर लाइफ एज यूजुअल है. देन यू हैव नॉट रियली डन, यू हैव मेडिटेटेड बट यू हैव नॉट रियली मेडिटेटेड इन माय ओपिनियन. बिकॉज मेडिटेशन का मतलब क्या है, उसका पर्पस क्या है? उसका पर्पस है कि you are disengaging from your mind, which is creating automatic thoughts, and saying, I'm not interested. I am interested in what is happening here in my body, in my breath. I am getting my interest back here because this is the reality of the moment. That is fiction. That belongs to past, future, commentary, judgment. All kinds of suffering is there. This is my reality. When I meditate, I'm bringing my mind back to my reality and I'm accepting my reality wholeheartedly. I'm not saying this is boring, this is this. So I'm learning a way to be present to my reality with acceptance, with compassion, with non-judgment. And that has to then extend to my life. It can't remain on my cushion. It has to get into my life. When I practice with this kind of a wisdom, it has to impact me. It's impossible not to impact me. But if I close my eyes, listen to a guided meditation, shut it, open my eyes, ठीक है, बहुत अच्छा है, now go back and life as usual, then it's not going to change.
So we are actually missing the mindfulness part of it. We're just doing it like a task to check it off the list.
Yeah. And it's not a technique. It is a wisdom practice. It's a principle with which you live your life. It's not a 15 minute करने वाला काम. Just like fitness. Fitness is also not just about एक अच्छा खा लिया, एक बार ये कर लिया. Fitness is also a lifestyle, ना? मतलब in every way we make choices that are healthy. We stop making unhealthy choices on almost a daily basis. On so many things. We'll take the stairs, we'll not take the lift, we'll walk a little if there's an opportunity. So many small choices we take based on fitness. It's not just about half an hour in the gym. It's much more than that. It's all much more. So only when we do it in the right way, it becomes, it shows up in the result.
Right, you're just going to the gym for the sake of it is not going to help unless you're into it mentally.
Correct.
So same way, if you're not journaling mentally, feeling the connection with your brain and your body, you won't be able to reap the benefits of it.
Yes.
Okay. Again, so much focus on mindfulness. And you know, I really hope after watching this podcast, people become more aware of the present, because that is what we are missing hugely.
Absolutely.
We are always in the past or the future, never in the present, and that is impacting us in so many ways than one.
Absolutely. And the best part which we don't realize is past and future are not existing only.
Right.
They are fiction. So you're spending your time in fiction, not in fact. And if I have any real opportunity to be happy, it can only be now. Dreams mein to I'll be happy some other time. So it's like this. I'm eating my food. I crave so much for food. But when I eat my food, I don't enjoy it. Because that time I'm watching something else. So which means I have literally moved away from enjoying my life. And I'm living in some kind of an ideal or some world of ideas and fears which are not real at all.
Right.
So I have before I know, my whole life is gone.
Right.
I'm 60, 70, my life is gone and I have not had a good time.
Right. In my childhood, like early childhood, around second or third or fourth grade, I came across this quote and I by-hearted it there and then because I loved it so much. And it goes like, yesterday is a cancelled check, which means past तो गया, जो कल था वो गया, वो cancel check की तरह है, it can't be used. Tomorrow is a promissory note. So जो कल आएगा, it is only a promise. You don't know कि वो कैसा आएगा, आएगा भी नहीं आएगा. And today is the only cash you have, so spend it wisely. जो आज है वो ही cash है जो आप use कर सकते हो. So you have to be very careful of how you use it. And that is what we are missing. So उतने साल पुराना पड़ा quote आज काम आ रहा है.
Good.
Okay, Sadia, so what is the most common mistake that people make when they first try meditation or any mindfulness practice?
The most common mistake they make is they sit and they expect that their mind will become thought-free and that they will calm down. And when they get up, they will feel like a yogi on a mountain. And what happens is the exact opposite. What happens is 100 thoughts come flooding in. The mind sometimes gets even more disturbed. And then they get up and say, meditation is not for me.
It's a hoax.
मेरे से नहीं होता है. ये मेरा काम नहीं है. ये कोई योगी का काम है. ये कोई वो लोग जिनके पास बहुत विजडम है उनका काम है. ये मेरा काम है.
जिनकी लाइफ में स्ट्रेस नहीं है.
या जिनकी लाइफ में स्ट्रेस नहीं है उनका काम है. But that's the biggest mistake. Like I always, when my clients say this, my clients also say this sometimes. I say, if you think you cannot meditate, then you need to meditate twice as much.
Okay.
Because then it means your mind is so busy that you are the first person who needs to meditate. But meditation does not mean कि आप बैठोगे और आपके thoughts गिर जाएंगे. This is like believing मैं गिटार बजाना शुरू करूँगी और लेड ज़ेपलिन के जैसे बजाऊँगी. When you play the guitar, you'll sound basura. You'll sound terrible. Your fingers will hurt and burn and pain and strings you won't even understand your tone is right or your one note is right or not. You won't understand anything. So it'll take you so much time. If you sit on the cycle, you're not going to go on a breeze. You'll fall. If you try to swim, you'll sink. You have to struggle with the water. You have to build muscular memory to lift weights, right? You have to build strength in your system to lift weights. It's the same thing. You have to create a mind that is slowly disengaging from thoughts, is able to be present through practice. And when your brain rewires, you're able to be that. And even meditators who meditated for 10-15 years are not thought-free. They are just not interested in that thought. So there are periods of thought-freeness. फिर कोई thought आ जाता है. Then they realize, अच्छा ठीक है. Of course, it's much different than when you started because you've practiced for a while. But complete thought-freeness is not even the intention of meditation. The intention is to train your brain to be present. And every time you come back into the present, you have done something good for yourself. So your mind got caught up with thoughts and you reminded yourself, no, I have to come back to my breath. Even 2 minutes went away, but then you came back. That coming back is rewiring the brain. So that is meditation. So this belief that I will become thought-free and super calm is a very, very big problem.
It's just like any other activity.
Any other activity.
So you need to be patient like any other activity also.
Yeah, absolutely. Give your brain time to rewire. You have to do your practice. Then it will show what results it has to show in some time. But you have to give it that space.
You don't learn writing on the very first day.
Nothing. That's what I said. There's nothing you learn without some effort.
Right.
Nothing.
Beautifully put. So if you could eliminate one common stress trigger from everybody's life, what would it be?
I think it would be the desire to be something else or be somewhere else.
Okay.
Because our whole life we are spending, and it doesn't matter who I'm talking to, the richest person, somebody who doesn't have money, somebody who's very fit, lean and healthy, somebody who's not, somebody who has children, somebody who doesn't, somebody who's married, somebody who doesn't, just doesn't matter. Everybody, if you ask them, what are you struggling with? They'll have something they're struggling with.
Right.
And that struggle will be, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए, वैसा होना चाहिए. मुझे ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए या फिर सामने वाले को ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए या फिर सिचुएशन को ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. मेरा घर बेटर होना चाहिए, मेरे रिलेशनशिप में वो अटेंशन बेटर होना चाहिए, मेरे बच्चे, whatever it is, या बॉडी. The point is, you have to understand that every human being cannot be sitting, no matter in which situation in life, and thinking ki where I am is not good enough. It's not possible. At least somebody will be happy where they are. So you have to see through this mistake that one fine day I will change this and become a happier person. Doesn't happen. And even if you look back in your life, you will realize that if you wanted something, okay, and you got it, today you are not bothered. वो हो गया. Now you want something else.
Right.
So satisfaction भी कोई permanent चीज नहीं है कि आपको ये मिल गया तो अब आप खुश हो जाओगे. You know, somebody said that your wife of 20 years today was once a girl you were dying for. But today you have relationship problems with the same person. So you get it, it doesn't mean it's over. You get a car, you're very excited. How long? 15 days, 1 month, 2 months. Uske baad, next thing.
Right.
So the human mind doesn't stop desiring and craving all the time to be something else. And that's the biggest cause of stress in human beings. There is very little acceptance, gratitude and enjoyment even of what you have.
Right.
So when you have something you're not enjoying, you're always wanting, which means you're stressed. When you get that, you're not enjoying that, you want something else, so you're stressed, so which means you're going to be stressed for your life.
Right. The grass is always greener on the other side, but in reality, grass is greener where you focus.
Exactly. And all of us have something to enjoy.
I think that wraps up today's episode, and I'm very thankful, Sadia, for all the insights and the valuable inputs that you gave us today, and so much importance on mindfulness that we were completely unaware of. So thank you for taking out time and sharing all the valuable information with us.
Most welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.